My next guest is the owner of Nebraska Health and Wellness Clinic, and he also has his hand in many other ventures in Norfolk and throughout the state. Dr. Jose Nuno, thanks for making time to be here today. Welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it, Zach. It's great to great night for this, especially the day before Thanksgiving. So.
It is a great night. I was I've done this is the second show today. I was like, nobody's gonna want to do it the day before Thanksgiving, but it worked out.
No, it's actually perfect. Closed down the clinic for the remainder of the Thanksgiving week. So, what better day to do something like this? As long as you guys are up for it. Yeah, that was perfect timing.
Definitely. So you grew up in Nebraska, right?
I'm a Fremont boy. Nebraska. Grew up in Fremont, pretty much. Born in actually Mexico.
Okay.
Grew up in Fremont since I was a year old, so I pretty much consider myself Nebraska grown.
What brought your family up from Mexico then at that time?
Mm-hmm. So I think just like an immigrant opportunity, a big thing. And then I think the story is my dad. He I think had a family member that lived in California. And then also Chicago, and so I think there was an opportunity to work, and so he came over. My mom was living in Mexico at the time, and started working. That was probably back in the 80s,
right?
And so he liked it and decided to bring mom over, and then I think they moved to Iowa, where my oldest brother was born.
Yep,
and then. Just been here ever since.
That's great. That's great. So you graduate. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say they didn't like the hot weather. They wanted some cold weather in their future.
Midwest weather. That's everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
That's what you don't get acclimated by it.
No?
Us tropical, no.
You're still not acclimated to it, huh?
Not acclimated, no.
I mean, I was born in Norfolk, Nebraska, and I'm not acclimated to it. I hate winter. I'm already done with winter this year.
Absolutely.
That's funny.
Definitely hard to get used to.
Yeah.
It's very temperamental weather out here, but hey, what's the saying? It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, you can have shorts weather one day and then you're bundling up the next.
No kidding.
It's miserable.
I think yesterday was cold.
It was.
Yeah.
And then I had patients coming in this morning wearing shorts.
Yeah, today was hot.
Yep.
I was like, what the heck? I haven't been outside, so
yeah,
it was pretty warm.
It was pretty warm today.
That's how I gauge my weather by my patients, what they come in dressed.
Right. So you graduated from Fremont High.
Correct.
And then what made you decide to join the medical field?
It's one of those things where I think it's you find a profession that you will make money in. And so for us being first gen Hispanics and even just like doing it first, I think it ended up coming down to what made money and what was considered to be a successful profession. And so growing up, I would have, if you knew me, you probably would have been like, how the heck is this guy in medicine? And so I think it's just, it was just mainly purely, there's some influence, but mainly purely out of finding a profession that you can monetize in. And then, my personality is you gotta, do something that I see people will value me at. And so I'm like, oh, medicine, if you're in medical, everybody respects you. And so I just decided to go that route. But mom was a caregiver for us, growing up, single. Not single, she was married.
Sorry. Yeah.
What I meant to say, she was a stay-at-home mom.
Yep.
And then she ended up actually doing a little bit of caregiving. And so I think that was my introduction to medicine and seeing how she cared for people.
That's great.
And then, decided to kind of look into that as far as, actual profession. So
you went to Midland.
I went to Midland for undergrad.
And you graduated? Yep.
Yep.
And then you went to University of Nebraska Medical Center.
Yep, that's correct. Went to Midland, graduated in 2013, and then got into UNMC for their medical program there. And so graduated from there. Great program. And then ended up actually doing a little bit of surgery with in here at Faith. So I got recruited actually and did some vascular surgery here. And then met Dr. Gomez, and from there kind of ventured into the family medical world as far as family practice.
And then Dr. Gomez was over on Vergis here.
Correct. Yeah, the famous Dr. Vergis. You guys know about him?
A little bit. You can give the listeners a little details if you want.
I don't know if I'm like great historian to do it out of respect to him, but from my understanding he had a medical influence in the Norfolk area, and so I think park dedicated to him, street dedicated to him.
Awesome.
I think he was probably the first guy who would have maybe started the hospital here in Norfolk.
Oh, really?
And then I think it's your neighbors. I think there used to be a hospital community, and then his clinic potentially. I might have that part wrong. And then he lived nearby, but
That's great.
That was a doc.
Because you took over his practice, right?
I took over Dr. Gomez's building.
Just the building, okay.
Just the building, yeah. There was some question about taking over his actual practice. But again, it goes back to my personality. I just want to start it all.
Right.
Start new.
I don't blame you. It's you being a first generation into the field. You kind of want to pave your own path, right?
That's right. You got to kind of pave your path and then just go big or go home. So I decided to just start from the bottom.
That's great. That's great. Now, do you have a clinic in Fremont too?
I have a clinic. I have a medical building that I currently own in Omaha, and Fremont. And then I actually just opened a brand new practice in Omaha. A little bit different than my clinic in Norfolk, but yeah, we recently opened Anthro Medical Center in Omaha. The basis around that is, and I think I'd probably preface this as it's a different model of practice that you would normally traditionally see. And so, membership driven. And so trying to get to see the feel of how certain patients might want to be in a membership type practice model to not have to use their insurance. And so,
can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So it comes down to, I would say, and I can say this because I am doing it in the traditional setting, say it with Nebraska Health and Wellness, where you come in, you bring in your insurance card, and we'll see you. And then it's kind of like a situation where our staff should be well equipped enough to know that you're a network, find out all the processes that you are able to be seen by us, and then later pretty much get an IOU from just bringing in that insurance card and then us submitting a claim and then hoping we get reimbursed for that visit. A lot of little factors. And so our accounts receivables could definitely start to creep up, especially with the timeframes and how long it takes to get reimbursed. And as you know, in business, because you're a business owner, it's nice to have cash because cash is king. And so when you can use it right away, you want to be able to invest in it. Since I'm an entrepreneur, I would want to get that money as soon as possible and invest it again. So Anthem Medical will kind of be the basis of you come in, and instead of showing us an insurance card, you just pay us a insurance premium, or a membership premium. It's not insurance, and you get to see us, and we will kind of practice a different type of medicine. And so I don't know. When do you guys go to your doctor?
When I'm sick.
Yeah,
that's the only
That's
time.
about it. I only go a couple times a year.
Yeah. So it's not very often, right?
So I think I've heard something kind of like this. I think one of the companies I might have worked for had something with somebody around here in Norfolk that it was kind of a membership-driven thing. Yeah. I don't really remember all the details, but it was a small amount. And you couldn't do big stuff, but you could go get seen to get a prescription for a cold or that type of stuff. And I kind of liked that idea a little bit, as opposed to going every time I go to the doctor. With my deductible, I got to pay $150 doctor visit, as opposed to maybe it's going to cost a little bit less or that type of thing. But again, I look at the medical world, the insurance world, as a gamble. Maybe I'm going to have a year where I'm sick all the time, or I'm going to have a year where I'm going to go once or twice a year.
Right. I think it's definitely something that we're excited to start.
I bet. Is there obviously there's only so many things you can provide there, right?
Yeah, so the way we're going to be structuring it is kind of like if you were a member anywhere. We want you to be, first off, proud of, coming to us as your provider, because we will probably end up bugging you, actually, Zach. So if you came to us, and if you weren't in to see me within 6 months, be like, hey, Zach, where the heck are you? Get in here. Let's check your blood work. We'll see where you're at.
Right.
Let's check out your, what do they call it? Your biological age instead of your chronological age.
Do you do stuff like that?
I want to, yeah.
You need to get into that. You should do something like that here, because I would love to.
I want to
track my health a little better, but
it's intense.
I don't want to go to the doctor's office every time to do that.
Yeah,
not in the traditional sense.
Yeah, so I listened to Joe Rogan podcast recently, and
that's good. That's how this one's kind of based off of.
Yeah, so. He's like, I don't ever go to my medical doctor for anything. It's like, I don't trust him. It's like, oh man. So I hit hard because it makes you think, like, why wouldn't he want to come to you?
But he does other stuff. He gets his blood taken a lot. He does the IVs. So he's doing stuff in the medical field, just maybe not his doctor per se.
Yeah, I think the traditional sense of medical practices, you come in and, and I think medicine is a lot like a lot of things, but a lot of places kind of have to go by the book. And I think maybe Joe Rogan and a lot of other influencers are showing the world that, outside of just getting prescribed something, there's a way to see how things work. It's kind of like a car. It's exactly like a car. There's something going on, and let's fix that, as opposed to giving you something that will maybe mask your symptoms. And then, I don't know.
I feel like people are getting, it may not be exactly what they're doing, but it seems like people are trying to avoid government overreach as much as they can. They may not know that's what they're doing,
right,
but I feel like it's becoming more and more of a thing, and people are trying to find other ways that.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the medical industry, and I know you're in it. Maybe you've seen it more than I have, but it seems like it's taken a hit in the last 5 years.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it. You said it perfect. A lot of it is overreach, and what we practice essentially can be very, very highly influenced with your insurance.
Yeah, insurance lobbyists.
Insurance
insurance
lobbyists.
guy.
No, it's okay. I'm
This is a different type of insurance.
I'm not a huge fan of health insurance.
Yeah.
I think it's very healthcare marketplace and Obamacare. It ruined how things can really work.
Yeah, and I mean we're in 2023, right? And so a lot of people are still really insurance naive. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And a lot of people don't know about deductibles and
all types of
out-of-pocket
insurance,
out-of-pocket expense and co-pays and all that stuff. So our clinic is constantly educating, which is okay. Everybody should have questions, and a lot of people we see might be first-time, medical goers, and so Enthro will be different. We're excited. We're gonna kind of really focus on the mind, the body, and the spirit. Not in a sense of like a witch doctor.
Was your wife a lot of influence on that?
She likes functional medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it. She took a class.
Really?
Yeah. So it's called functional medicine, and the basis is finding how the body works and using different methods and techniques to get it feeling better, making it work
Right.
pristine, oil it up, and get it going.
Well, so we'll talk a little bit more on that because we're gonna discuss COVID here in a little bit. But going back to the clinic you have here in town, you guys have some innovative technology that you use there. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so we have quite a bit of services. I don't know, a lot of people probably my fault for being so busy and being better at marketing. But yeah, we do quite a bit at our facility. And I think outside of just coming in for a common cold and getting treated for different things, we have some aesthetic stuff that you can come in and get. I think we're more proud of different services that we offer for patients who want to be preventative. So a lot of IV infusion therapy. We've been going hard on that. A lot of people are coming in for different types of cocktails that we infuse intravenously. And then, we are really, really hoping to do some sort of hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy.
Really?
Yeah. Cold therapy.
Yeah.
All those cool things.
What about those? Was it the
Emscolt and Emsella? Yeah. So we have a machine actually that can make you look like a model.
I've seen it when you guys did your opening. They're decent sized machines.
They're intense.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it?
No.
You should come by and try it. It's pretty cool.
Scares
I
the
mean,
hell
that's
out
got
of
to
me.
be a lot of work to make me look like a model, but let's go. I need this.
So it's intense. So think of it as a TENS machine on steroids.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty. So what it does is it's called Emsculpt, and there's I think it's more so. It has a lot of beautiful marketing around it, and so some really smart marketing guys really got this thing going. But we got a lot of great models and influencers doing it, and so what it does is it's a giant pad that you put on an area where you want to have some fat reduction. And have you guys heard of cool sculpting?
No.
I've heard of it.
So cool sculpting kind of helps to essentially break down fat by cooling it at a certain temp, and then essentially kind of making you thinner. This actually is its arch nemesis, where uses heat. And so what it does is it heats your adipose tissue fat at a certain level to where it causes it to break apart. And in doing so, your lymphatic system will be responsible for removing it. And so, and then at the same time, it's causing your muscle to get contracted. So like a TENS machine.
Okay.
So would that be like the equivalent on the outside of like what thermogenesis idea was on on the dietitian side of it?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Similar concept of being able to break down and destroy a fat cell. And then essentially once you get rid of it, essentially, as long as you don't go eat a cheeseburger, you should be good.
That's the
That's
key.
always the hard part,
That's the
right?
hardest
It's the
part.
nutrition.
And
I mean,
it's
that beer and that
you still
cheeseburger is
have
really
to
good.
exercise if you do this.
Right.
Otherwise, you won't get the best results. But
Right.
no, we've had a great success out of it. Obviously, we're not Miami or California, but there's still a lot of people that want to look good. I mean, we got 2 months of nice weather.
Yeah.
And we got
Barely.
Takahazuka Lake out there.
Yeah.
You can go out there and look good.
Even our summers are windy as hell.
I know. It's
Gosh.
bad.
Hang
But no,
out on the Elkhorn River.
Elkhorn River, yeah. Yeah. Hey, people need to look good.
Yeah.
It's a great machine, but it's a hard concept to get people around in Norfolk area. But
I was looking at, as I was doing a little bit of research on you, you have a lot of good reviews.
I appreciate it.
Your reviews on your site and everything, just so many good, from anywhere from the Hispanic community all the way through. It's good to see.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest, and it sounds so cliche, but customer service means everything to
But you
me.
guys have a good culture there. Every
We
time
do.
I've walked in, I'm always greeted by somebody, and they're
Good. Yeah.
And they're like, "You want to see Jose?" I'm like, yeah, "Kind of." They're like, "Okay."
I always tell them, if you see Zach, make sure you come see me. Not as my insurance guy. You gotta come in as a patient.
Right.
No, yeah, we really, really value humans and relationships, and so when you come through the door, I don't care who you are, I don't care how much you get paid.
Not just a number, another number. You're somebody.
Yeah, and it sounds so cliche, but it's true.
It's not cliche.
You can
It's
feel it when
it's
you
a
go
great
into
thing.
certain places.
Yeah, yeah,
No matter what profession you are, you can tell if you're a number, if you're
Yep.
a valued customer.
Yep. So I will really, really, model my businesses around that. I want you to feel like you belong, and I think that's what's been so great for us, and that's why we're so busy. Is our marketing is all word of mouth and people referring us within themselves, so which is great. But I read a recent thing that if you have a 5-star review, did you know that people are less likely to come see you
If it's perfect.
if it's perfect?
You got to have like that 4.7 or
That's true, they did a
4.6.
study
I mean, it
on
was
it.
But if
great
it's like
except for
if-
this one thing.
If it's 5 and there's only like 6 reviews, then I'm like, okay, that's
Like
just
you
their
get a little
friends.
skeptical a little bit, you think?
But if
Yeah,
I see
you
it's
see.
like 5 stars with like 100,000 people, I'm like,
That's
okay,
true.
that's okay.
An average of 4.9 or something
Yeah.
I
like that.
forgot where I saw that, but it's a thing.
It's true.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I think 4.5 is like the
Yes.
Yeah.
where you want to be.
Yep.
I don't check a lot of reviews. I guess it's just not something I've ever really got into growing up. But it's just not my nature. But yeah, it's I can see that. And then going back to your on your culture thing, it's tough to find it from the bottom to the top.
Yep.
I mean, when you have a culture like that, and enough people are reviewing that saying your culture is that good, that means it's everybody.
Yep.
And it's hard to find that that entry level person to take that type of pride. I mean, there's industries that they can be, or companies that they can be taken down by one bad
Right.
clerk or associate or
Gosh,
something, just
I
not
cry.
having a good
Yeah.
day or not caring about their job.
Yeah. I cry if I see a bad review.
Do you?
Ruins my night.
You gotta let it not bother you.
I think it's because I know I take such good care
Yeah,
of them.
right.
So if I see one, it's kind of like you almost kind of get let down.
Yeah.
Because you'll no matter who you are, you'll provide the same service. So it's like, gosh, what really happened?
You
But it's
feel
always
like,
one of the, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you feel like one is actually like 20 more people that
it
didn't say
affects
anything.
me, and it's
Yeah.
so hard because they teach you every time in life, like, look at all the positives, which there's,
Many.
quite a bit of them, but it's those negatives that hit you hard.
Everybody does though.
Yeah.
You
I
always,
couldn't be an influencer because I would probably just read the comments and just
Yeah.
be like, dang, people
Yeah.
are mean. Why are they so mean?
The bad thing about the bad reviews is that they probably didn't even approach anybody at the office
Correct.
about what happened.
Correct.
They're just like, no, I'm just going to go post this bad review and not even let them have a chance to fix it.
They're going to cancel you.
Yeah.
Or they could have had a bad day and they
yeah.
Yeah, take it out on you.
They were they had a bad day, and that created the situation that they were in with somebody else that was like, well, I'm feeling threatened.
Right.
I can see that
gotta love
happen
cancel
too.
culture.
It's an easy way to I mean, I think people know that if you give them a bad review, like, hey, especially us, like it's gonna hit them hard right in the heart. But no, I do have a 1-star on there.
Do you really? I didn't. I didn't see
It
it.
was during COVID season.
Why is that? What was it?
Apparently, she waited too long.
Oh gosh.
But I don't know. It's okay. I always respond to those bad ones. Like, hey, yeah. Like, what can we do next time to
make
earn
your
your service
experience
back?
better?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll never obviously backlash them or anything.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully next time we treat her right away.
That's good.
Yeah.
So did your brother, is Trino older than you?
Yep. He's probably a year and some change older.
So was so he's a dentist, right?
Correct.
Did he get into his field kind of obviously before you were?
Yeah, he mentor, I would say.
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah. So definitely follow in the footsteps. And it's like with every successful person, if you're smart enough, you're just going to watch people around you and do the same thing, mimic
figure it
it.
out.
Yeah. And so first guy to do high school, first guy to do undergrad, first guy to do, in our family, I guess, to do any sort of graduate program or doctorate program for dental.
That's great.
Yeah, just followed in his footsteps, did the same sport. So, yeah, I'm proud to say that I followed in my big brother's
I wondered if he was an influence and helped you
absolutely.
kind of get into the,
Yeah.
that's great.
Just makes you wake up. And I think, luckily, fortunately, early on, I realized that life is short.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had fun growing up. I, did dumb stuff.
Yep.
So I think that's what made me a perfect person for this type of a profession, because my life experience is very diverse.
So when you say that you chose a career path that would make money, that was successful, that had the stature of being successful,
Right.
Did you, going through studying and through school and everything, did you ever second doubt that or guess that, like, maybe this is not for me, I don't want to do this?
I think it's called imposter syndrome. I had it for a long time.
I still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's legit. Even now, every once in a while, I get like, man,
Am I really here?
yeah,
Should I be doing this?
Yeah.
Am I in the right field?
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's just pinch myself.
That's what took me so
I'm
long to even start this podcast. I'm
Yeah.
like, can I really do it? Is this something I
that's
can really
great.
do?
I listened to you.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Appreciate
As
it.
soon as you told me, I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to support this guy.
That's great.
Yeah. But no, definitely still get imposter syndrome. Definitely still.
I don't think that's ever going to go away
I don't
either.
think so.
Yeah.
No.
Because you're a very humble person.
I try to be. I think, yeah, I hope I get perceived as that. But sometimes, when you're in the type of line of work that I'm in, it's hard for people to see confidence versus arrogance versus.
Every doctor
I can
gives
see
off
that.
ego.
Yeah.
And they as well they should.
You kind of have to have a little bit of it.
Yep.
But it's definitely not narcissism.
No, I won't go see a doctor that doesn't have an ego.
Yeah.
I won't.
You have to.
You just have to have a little bit of bedside manner.
Correct.
They
Yes.
call bedside manner.
Yep.
I mean, it is a real thing.
You have to have confidence.
Yep.
And a lot of people perceive it as a negative thing, but no, I think I can. There's a time and place for certain ways you act and perceive yourself.
But you can tell you put a lot into everything that you do.
Yeah.
I could even tell when you were renovating the building down here on Vergis for your Airbnb, the work you put into your clinic.
Yep.
You really care about what you're doing.
Yeah, I really care about my what people perceive me.
Yeah.
My 5-star reviews. I think there's a.
Well, as long as there's only one star, we'll be
Right.
all right.
Yeah.
We can
Okay.
survive that.
Yes, there's a Netflix show on that. I think it's called Black Mirror.
Oh, Black Mirror. It's a
yeah.
great
Seen it?
show.
I like it.
So I love that show.
There's one on. There's I think episodes on reviews.
Mhm.
Did you ever seen that
I
one?
haven't seen
Well,
that
it's
one.
it's like how they do it in social credit score.
It's
over
a
in
credit
China.
score.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's open, and so you can either push the down arrow or up arrow.
Yep.
I feel like we need to get some of that going.
Like one bad coffee, and this lady gets like bloop bloop bloop. Yeah.
Oh man,
I don't know about a social credit score. Let's pump the brakes just a bit.
That's
here.
funny.
You can't put. I mean, the problem you worry about is the people making the reviews. We can't trust it. We know not everybody is worthy to make the right review.
But it would be nice to know if you're approaching somebody and like
I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
No, there's I think it's a certain type of person who does reviews. You have to have a certain personality type.
I don't do a whole lot of reviews. I only do good ones. If I do one, it's usually good. I don't usually do bad reviews. I just don't think it's necessary.
Yeah,
I can honestly say the
passive-aggressive.
only review I make is at the self-checkout at Walmart. Every single time I do 1 star, it was not a good experience because I'm in Walmart. So it's
I don't go there anymore.
star
For
every
that
time.
reason.
I don't either.
I don't do that anymore. Yeah,
They've got a lot more actual checkout with people at the cash register now.
that's good.
Do they really?
Yeah, I saw an article not that long ago that Walmart's going away from it. Costco's going away from self-checkout. There's a bunch of companies getting rid of the self-checkout.
I will say I do
it's
like
a bad move.
Sam's Club, where you can scan as you go and then just leave. Like I like that.
Like
That's pretty cool.
the Amazon stores do that too.
Yeah,
I heard you have to be careful though.
you do. You got to watch what you're doing.
I've heard that there's a threshold, and so Walmart will let you check out, and if you forget, because there's facial recognition. Have you guys heard that? So apparently, Walmart and certain big box stores will have a really robust facial recognition system, and apparently, if you happen to forget to, a lot of people are innocent and will accidentally forget to scan something,
Right.
and what Walmart will do is won't tell you. No one will stop you at the door like, hey, you didn't scan that piece of banana. But then next time you come, if it happens, it just starts adding up until you get to a certain...
To get to that $1,000, $10,000
and
limit.
then boom,
and then you're
cops are at your
grand
door.
theft.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you get this huge, you get
I've
sued.
never heard that. That's crazy.
It's not surprising, but yeah, I can
Pretty
see
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But bring back the Walmart lady. She
The
needs to
greeter?
come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the cashier.
Oh yeah, the cashier. Yeah, for sure. Is there anything more you want to go into at the clinic at all?
Yeah, so we are in the process of growth. New addition is X-ray imaging. It's been a huge new addition to our practice. And so that's going to be something where we'll be able to do imaging in-house. Currently talking to a ultrasound technician and X-ray technician to also do something. Biggest thing is compliance. So whenever you have a facility that's not in a big hospital, is you have to coordinate services and hope that they go. And I think there's a statistic that less than, something really low, probably like 25% of people actually go and do the stuff that they actually, set you up to do. And so if we do everything in-house, we know it's done and we know it'll get done and help them a lot quicker. So we do our own labs. We do our own imaging now. Have massage therapy with machines, and then IV therapy, and then traditional medicine. So if you're sick, if you have diabetes, and then their machines, Emsculpt, Emcella.
Do you still have? I think you're bringing in another team on the side in there. Is it you still have them there?
So I built that building. I built it out because it was kind of. It actually got, I think, flooded, and so. Great opportunity to acquire it, and I actually got a vascular surgeon out of Dakota Dunes to come out here, and he's seeing patients.
That's
currently
great.
Out of it, yeah, it's great. So if you have any vascular problems, hit him up.
So
Cool guy.
you guys are doing a lot there.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to. Are you gonna expand at that location?
I honestly think we're ready. We're ready for it. Yeah.
And you're okay. There's a lot of space too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of land.
Yeah.
So I think at any minute, we very well could and do well.
That's great.
Just got to make sure I do it correctly and strategically. But there's a lot of practices in Norfolk, and so got to make sure it makes sense, crunch the numbers, and probably go forward with it.
Yeah, I don't want to say a whole lot, but I think there's a lot of practices, but there's only a few that me personally I would trust to go to. You're one of them.
Appreciate it.
I haven't been there yet, but
You should come
I
try
will.
us out.
I will.
We'll be different.
Yeah.
I'm learning every day. Is that weird?
You have to. I still learn every day in my profession.
Yeah, if you go to a doctor who will not,
Doesn't learn.
or a PA, or a nurse practitioner who will tell you that there's only one way, you should run.
Right.
Well, in all honesty, that's not even just in the medical field. I
Everywhere.
mean, my job, I learn
Be
something
humble.
new every single day.
Be humble and be open. That's, I think, what makes us also maybe successful is, I'll tell you, I don't know. Like,
Right.
you come to me like, hey, Jose, I got this. Like, I don't know.
That's how
I'll
I do
figure
that
it
too.
out.
I know a good guy that does.
But you'll go find the answer. Yeah.
I'll find the answer.
I like
for
that too.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I don't
Yeah.
want to be the guy that sounds like he knows everything because
No, it's dangerous.
yeah,
Yeah, you'll let a lot of people down because, even things that look the same are not. And so being humble, knowing the right, knowing how to say I don't know is, I think, a valuable thing as a medical professional. I think you should trust that person a lot more than someone who just tells you, which there's a lot of confident, smart people, but very few.
right. I like the word balance a lot. I'm going to use it a lot in the podcast. How do you balance? You're a busy guy. How do you balance wife? You got one child,
Oh, gosh.
Right?
Now.
three.
Zach,
You're
yeah.
just three. Jeez.
Well,
Look at me being wrong.
It's not your fault. I think it's been within 2 years we've had those 3 kids.
Wow. So yeah.
I think they call them Irish twins.
Oh really? It's
Yeah.
hard for me to keep up with everybody.
3 kids in 2 years?
No, like 3 years.
Oh, 3
They're
years.
called Irish twins.
Yeah. How
Or
fast?
wife. Yeah, right after. It's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. That's good. So how do you balance that with having the family, and your wife works in the clinic too, right?
yep. She sees patients on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I probably have to give her the credit. She lets me spread my wings and just let me do what I need to do. She
holds down the fort.
She holds down the fort. I've spent a weekend with those animals.
It's tough.
Bless her soul.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Kids are tough, man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. But no, wife, definitely have to give her a huge lot of credit. And then I think it's all, a lot of it's being scared of failing, and also your personality type, and then also what would it be? Yeah, just perseverance.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of go for the whole entire enchilada. But I would say if it wasn't for the wife, definitely would have to pump the brakes a lot. So
I'm the same way. I wouldn't be able to do this podcast. I wouldn't be able to do half of what
Right.
I do without her holding
she's
down
at
everything.
home with the kids right now. I'm over here
Over here having fun.
having fun.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's I still haven't learned how to have a well balanced life. It's hard.
It's ever changing.
Yeah,
It's sometimes you have to just sit back and be like, I need to take a second to
it's hard.
reset.
Yeah, and you learn every day.
I think everybody's version of balanced is different too.
Yeah, you get snippets of kind of some revelations. I think it's easier for me because I see a lot of patients die, and then it makes you kind of like, whoa, like this guy, I saw him last year. He was healthy as an ox, and now he's dead.
That is one thing that you and I have in common with me being in the insurance industry is
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
dealing with life
Sure.
insurance and always having to do the last benefits. And it's like, man, I'm having to have a lot more conversations about
Yep.
death than I ever have in my life.
Yeah, that helps me keep me in check, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
'Cause
see your own mortality?
I do. Sometimes, yeah. It just makes you value life a lot better.
Yeah.
But even then, yeah, I let days go by or weeks and I don't get checked. But I try to reality check myself a lot. Just because I think it's important to realize that any moment's notice, you know.
I'm sure your wife gives you reality checks too.
Oh yeah.
I know mine does.
definitely. Oh yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, no, but it's definitely a learning thing. Yeah. Just kind of especially with being in a new community, you know. Norfolk. I'm from Fremont.
How
Lived in
long have you
Omaha.
been in Norfolk?
Not long, 5 years. Yeah, I didn't even know about Norfolk, and the only time I really knew about you guys in Norfolk is cross country
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wrestling. You guys have a good
Yeah.
wrestling program here.
What? I don't even know if you and I have talked about this. What brought you to Norfolk then?
Yeah, so going to the school, you get stuck into different communities. I shouldn't say stuck. You get placed.
Yeah.
And one of them was actually here at the Faith Regional Hospital. Actually got placed with Dr. Rains, who is a cardiothoracic surgeon here. And it's an awesome experience doing open heart surgery in Norfolk, Nebraska. Like, it's intense. Do you guys know that we do open heart surgery here?
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say, but I had a family member just got it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, legit big institution type of stuff here. And you hear at their Faith Regional commercials, but yeah, it's legit. They go, triple bypasses, quadruple bypasses. So Dr. Rains was a very intelligent man who was an attorney and then turned surgeon, and I was privileged.
Attorney turned surgeon, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
common.
wild.
It's really common, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
They gotta wash their sins.
That's right. It's a great combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great combination. But privileged to do some procedure with him, some rotation with him. And then there was a guy named Dr. Moreno, vascular guy, Hispanic, Colombian, who needed a first assist and a provider with him. And so recruited me. Money was good. So fresh
That's
out of
always
school,
a good thing. Right?
fresh out of school, you see those dollar signs. It's like,
Right.
holy smokes.
I guess we're living in Norfolk.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I guess I could do it for a year.
Right.
How long do I have to be here? My commitment is 2 years. I think I can do this.
At least you got here when the growth was kind of starting. You know, downtown's getting revitalized. And
No, I realized it really quick that Norfolk is, I think Josh has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But definitely very, it's getting more progressive and more, I think, it's attractive, I think, to a younger person.
Yep.
Definitely not Omaha, because I love Omaha. But yeah, now having skin in the game with different avenues and business, it definitely makes it more fun.
you don't
being
have
here.
just skin. I think you dug in under the surface a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I get a lot of FOMO. So when downtown started booming, I did so many cold calling. Sell me your building. Come on, I need to get in there.
Oh, that's great.
Until I found the Max building. I'm
Right.
like, yes, finally. But no, it's been great. We, Norfolk's grown on us, so
Yeah.
we'll be
that's
here
good.
for a while. Yeah.
I know this is not something that a lot of people like to talk about, but I want to get a little bit, since you are in the medical field,
Mhm.
a little bit into COVID,
Mhm.
how you felt that it went, and just get your thoughts on the whole thing.
Yeah, COVID was great for business. I say that in a very respectful manner.
Right.
I wear multiple hats, but it sucked for a lot of patients, obviously, medically. But yeah, I got right into it. So I actually opened my practice, and the peak of my initial practice was COVID. So that kind of put me on the map. I opened the doors to any and all patients who had symptoms that were related to COVID. And so it really helped me in the sense in the business aspect, because that really got my name out.
Yep.
But seriously speaking, it hurt a lot of my patients. We all.
What were your thoughts on? Did you do much with the vaccine? And what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I got kind of put in a interesting position. So a little background, being Hispanic, I have a lot of patients who will work in blue collar jobs, and one of them being Tyson. It was a tough situation with vaccination, and they actually made it mandatory. And so you either got the jab or you got the boot. And so I don't know how I feel about it.
Still don't.
I don't. I feel very against the mandate part of it.
Yeah.
And companies going on that side of it and kicking people out. I was against it from the beginning.
Right.
I'll be blunt, and I told some of the people, my bosses, I said, and then I work for Norfolk Iron and Metal, and they didn't mandate it, and they kind of said they weren't going to, but I made it very well known that I'd be walking out the door if you were going to mandate me to get it, whether it was good or not. It's just I don't want to be mandated into something like that. And I believe everybody should have their own, and I still believe that you need to have your own choice on if you want to do it or not.
Beautiful put.
And I get, I didn't feel it was necessary for myself, just as Vance didn't feel it was necessary for him, but I did see where it could have benefited some
people.
elderly people,
Right.
which is fine. But the mandates.
I agree. I think that is perfectly said. You shouldn't, you should have choice. You should be able to consult your medical provider and say, hey, do you think this is right for me? Now looking back, it was scary. Social media, the media in general perceived it and made it seem Very, very
inflated
scary.
the numbers
Oh my
and
gosh.
made it absolutely insane.
Yeah, so I don't blame the people who got it. Now looking back, they definitely have, and I'm living in it still every day. I got a lot of people who just are, almost feel deceived by their employer. Like, man, why'd you make me do this?
Right.
Because then guess what happened at the end?
They didn't need it.
The mandate got lifted.
Yeah.
And so people got their jobs back.
Yep. Yeah, the job's back, and the military mandated it, and I've got a few friends that were forced to get it, even though they're just in the guard, but they had to get it to keep their position.
I know some that were in the garden. I mean, they pushed through and didn't get it, and
Yeah.
I mean they fought it till the end. They weren't gonna. It was gonna be we're gone or not.
Yeah, I think you should, I guess, do your research, know what you're getting, and then make a really highly educated decision with you personally and your provider and decide if it's for you.
I love your take on that.
Yeah, mandating it definitely doesn't let you, kind of puts you in a position where, gosh, a lot of these people, need their jobs. Gosh, nurses, professionals, doctors, a lot of people lost their jobs for not getting vaccines in big cities, and it's unfortunate, but I applaud them for standing for their, their voice, and hey, if I got put in that position, it'd be tough. So I applaud you for standing up and saying, hey, like, my body.
Well, to me, it wasn't. I mean, obviously, I'm not a medical professional, so I don't really know, but I know numbers. It's easy for me to look at numbers and look at statistics, and my percentage of at my age, what health I'm in, my percentage of death is this.
Right.
I still have a percentage of long-term effects from an unproven vaccine that we don't. Even that percentage, we don't know if that's what it is come 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
15, 20 years. It's just, to me, it was a no-brainer for my personal opinion, for my situation. And that's kind of where I was on it. It just was tough for me. And what do you think? Do you think it has done, which I've seen some numbers on childhood vaccinations and percentages. Do you think it has overall done more damage to the vaccinations and people's trust in the vaccination industry and everything like that?
Yeah, no. I think it's very, very common now to see a new functional doctor come up and more medical conscious people. I think it's really woken up a lot of people. I think it, hindsight 2020, but definitely has helped people realize that you got to do your own research, do your own homework, really look into it.
Don't believe the first thing you see.
Don't
Read
don't
like
go to Facebook.
4 or 5 different things.
Don't go to Facebook. Don't, just research it. So yeah, to your point, definitely has been for me quite a bit of, I get put in a tough situation because luckily I have a little bit more wings than a lot of people would. And I mean that by saying that I'm an independent practitioner. So I don't have a influence above me saying,
which
hey,
is good.
Yeah.
I think most practices should be that way.
Yeah.
You should be able to give your own opinion, not influenced by other things, which it's crazy that that's even a thing.
Yeah.
Which in the middle of COVID, they took that away from medical professionals. And I think it did a more disservice to
CDC, the WHO, letting them take the handle.
So we just let China take care of our medical advice. I mean, come on.
Yeah, setting up protocols and following them. And
because I also know your thoughts on masks too.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Let's get into that.
Let's get into that one.
I think what did it for me was when I went on vacation during COVID and they tried making my 2-year-old wear a mask.
I would probably
the lady was she was so upset that my 2-year-old couldn't keep a mask. That kind of, I think there's a lot of research on the type of masks that were supposedly recommended on airlines and other areas, and their effectiveness is close to nothing, almost probably even harming.
And over 80% of the population was wearing cloth masks.
That information's been out for years, and people just at minimum a year and a half, and people aren't looking at it. But the mainstream media won't push it because they're not going to prove that. They're not going to say we were wrong. No, we were right. You just weren't holding it right. You weren't using it right.
And how many cases of wasn't there like bacteria that could get back into your lungs and cause?
Absolutely. I think it's very unhygienic. I framed my mask. I created Nebraska Health Wellness mask.
Did you really?
Yeah, because we had to wear them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
I would go crazy going into health
Oh my
or
God.
Faith Regional Health and even afterwards I was like, I
will
just can't do this.
I will admit you should. I did a interview on Telemundo, and
Did you really?
I did
That's great.
when COVID hit, and you should have seen me. You wouldn't even be able to tell it was me.
Really?
No,
Wearing a mask?
I was wearing a full body shield.
Oh my God.
I saw COVID number 104. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, I saw the first. I will say that I think I was the first provider to see the first COVID patient.
I'm pretty
When
sure.
was that?
That was in, I think April, May of 2019.
So I have it's all anecdotal, but I believe it was here before the first of the year.
I believe
And I
it.
believe
Oh, it
I
was.
had it. I believe I had it in
Sure.
November. I mean, I had
Based on your
something-
symptoms?
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I was the
I was
sickest I'd ever
brutal.
been coming into
Before that.
2020. Yeah.
There's it's funny you say that. So employers and employees actually took a big advantage, and they took advantage of that.
The sick days.
my gosh.
I'll say I never got tested. I was never going to get tested. It was one of those things like if I don't know I got it, I don't have it. So
Right.
at the time, I lived with my brother, and his girlfriend at the time actually got tested and had
Sure.
it. All three of us were sick with stuff at the same. I still went to work.
Sure.
I'll stay away from people,
Yeah.
but
Just
we're all my age.
Yeah.
We're not gonna die.
No, I agree. I think that's
And I didn't. I just was that guy. And
Yep.
yeah, maybe it's bad, but
No.
nobody died from it. So
I think it's called herd immunity. You want to have it.
Yeah.
Just get it naturally.
kind of the way we've gone about it until this specific pandemic.
Is that what they call it back in the day? Survival of the fittest?
Yep.
So why do you think people like? Why was the government so scared? Why any ideas? Like why it was
Gosh,
so
there's so many
pushed?
conspiracy.
I know.
I don't
What are
know.
your thoughts?
Do you think it could have been blinding to other stuff going on?
Probably that's what I think. But
Yeah. So definitely a distraction.
that's what I think.
Um,
Do you think it was in a lab? Do you think it was created in a lab? Do you think that was a real thing?
I think, yeah, based on what I've researched, and it was very monetizing. So a lot of people had a lot of,
Oh, just very,
oh yeah, I mean,
just very.
oh gosh, monetizing to those, I mean, even down to the vaccines, down to the masks. Like if you really do your research on who had their hands on medical equipment, and I mean, it was the big top guys.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, they, an agenda or monetizing it, or probably a mixture of all that.
Right.
Well, 2020 was the largest transfer of wealth ever in the history of the United
Exactly.
States.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if that tells you anything.
That didn't just happen for
yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't happen by accident.
Yeah. So definitely, yeah, it's, and this is, I feel like I feel comfortable saying this, but I think I only had 2 patients die from it. And I saw thousands of
Were they
COVID.
older.
Yeah. Like really old.
Yeah.
Cancer, high blood pressure,
Already had so
obese.
they had some of the comorbidity.
They would have died with flu.
Right.
You didn't-
Guaranteed.
You
Right.
didn't have a car accident victim die of COVID?
I've had that. There was one situation where a patient ended up getting injured, and the first diagnosis was COVID-19.
So was there really kickback to some places that were getting like hospitals getting kickback for saying it was COVID? Was that a real thing?
So they,
Whether you can answer it or not, but-
insurance made it very easy to get reimbursed if it was COVID. I'll say that.
Wow.
They just pushed the money through as opposed to
I don't know.
tying
It could have
up.
been. I mean, I don't see what monetary gain they would get from it, other than that, if you came in and I diagnosed you with COVID.
Maybe from the government, the insurance companies maybe were getting a press to pay more COVID stuff out.
Keep it hush hush, like
Yeah.
hey, don't
Yeah.
make a big fuss.
Yeah,
like
so
let
they
these
pay
patients
you
do
and
it.
the government pays the
Could be.
insurance company.
Could be, but it was a wild ride. It was a wild ride.
It
But-
Sounds like it.
It
I
was
kinda-
one of the craziest points of my life, and it opened my eyes up to a world of.
Mhm.
I mean, I was already kind of along that path, but I mean, just made me even worse.
And I like your thoughts on you're not just all pharmaceutical based.
right.
You're talking about the functional medicine.
Yeah, I think that's helped me a lot. COVID. I don't know. Have you ever seen that progression of an ape to like human?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try to find pictures of me from COVID-19,
Yeah.
like full body suit
Yeah.
to just wearing like a head shield to going to a mask, just like progressively going.
That's great.
Now I see COVIDs without masks. If that tells you anything.
Yeah.
Like I get COVIDs today.
Still?
Oh yeah.
So that's another thing that I'm on, and I kind of tell people, especially people our age, what is the benefit of going and even why are you going and getting yourself tested on that? I mean, at this point, we kind of know how to deal with it. Just
I hate to say it, but for me, and I say this because the type of person, it's employers are scared of it.
Employers are still scared of it, is what you're saying?
I think so. So if a patient comes in and they get COVID-19, there's still a protocol, and it helps with absentees, excuse them.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
They don't look bad. They don't have any severe symptoms to where I'm like, man, go to the hospital.
Right.
And so we take a different approach to patients who, if you come in and say, Jose, I think I have COVID, like, okay, Zach, what are you feeling? And then maybe I'll, convince you not to get tested, or if you really wanted to, if it'll.
I like that approach,
yeah.
Actually. Like, I just don't understand, especially now, why.
It's really easy to provide it. It's a scapegoat thing, too.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. If you came in and a lot of people's minds wouldn't be at rest, but if you just got told the diagnosis, like, oh, man, I'm COVID, I'm staying home, not going to do anything. Hey, I can't go to work. I don't know.
So this is going to be a little off topic, but talking about how providers do things. When you see somebody and they come in for, I don't know, let's say a hurt wrist.
Right.
And they want to talk about something else. Do you tell them to make another appointment, or do you?
I don't.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that, actually.
Yeah. So there's people that come in for 15. We call them chief complaints.
So what's your philosophy on that? Why do you do it that way?
I respect a lot of their schedules.
Time? You respect their time?
Their time.
As the patient would respect yours?
Correct.
Or try to. I guess if they're bringing in 15 things, that's maybe not a respect of your time, but
my employees still don't get it a lot of times. I've been trying to teach them, but if someone's offloading that much, those many symptoms and complaints, listen to them. And it's beautiful because, it's the first visit's tough, but then the second, it just the relationship builds, and then you just see less things kind of get complained about.
I will say you're one of the few that do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I have colleagues.
And that makes me respect you more.
Yeah. I have colleagues who they'll have it posted like two things at a time. That's it. You're not seeing me any more time. Sometimes I'm a human. I have to bite my tongue when I'm about to walk out the door and be like, oh, Jose, so
right.
Can you look at this? I was like, yeah, of course. Well, let's take a look at it.
So what's the reasoning behind them doing that? Only doing one diagnosis or two, or
time,
and more doctor's visits,
and more visits.
So more money.
Yeah,
just more turnaround.
Yeah, I love it because it's business. Unfortunately, it's for me. It's building relationships, learning, and it tells you a lot. If something, it could be the last piece to the puzzle,
right?
To tell you a diagnosis. So just hear them out.
Yep.
I think it's a good thing if people unload on you because it makes me feel good because I know they trust me.
Right.
Like if I came in, I'm like, man, I'm just going to tell this guy I'm here for a cough. That's it. But when it starts, like it's a progressive thing with me. Like a patient will come in and then you see their faces and the way they kind of come in, and then it just starts, they just feel more comfortable. That's what I want you to feel like when you come to see me, like a human.
So like usually when you talk about the unloading thing, like when I go to a doctor, I mean, I got to be, it's the third or fourth day of me miserable on something. Yep. Something's a problem. And so, I've done that where I've gone and this is my only symptom. And then they say, well, is this going on? Well, actually, that started the other day. It's no longer that way. And it seems like that kind of helps get to that final deal or whatever. But
something new I've tried, which has been amazing for me, is I'll ask you other questions. I want to get you. And it's so funny seeing their faces. Like, Zach, you come in for a cough. Like, hey, Zach, how you sleeping?
Right.
And it's crazy. Like, what? What are you talking about? You're asking me? I'm like, yeah, man. Are you sleeping good?
It could affect it, though.
Oh, my gosh. Like, no, actually, I haven't been able to sleep at all. It's like, oh, really? Why? And then, hey, Zach, how's your mood? How's your mental health? And then it's crazy. It's just like how much
You don't
learn
get that
from
very
a
often
person.
from a doctor.
No. I learned, I will admit I was, I'm still learning and learning that type of, that medicine, which is treating the patient. And so it's amazing seeing their faces like, what, you care? It's like, yeah. Like, how are you sleeping?
But isn't that sad though that maybe they didn't have that before?
How much water are you drinking in a day? It's like, what?
Not
Right.
enough. What is there in a beer?
Yeah. There's a patient today. She's like, I drink a lot of Pepsi. I'm like, well, I guess that's how, you have to have water and Pepsi, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go walk. You can have a Pepsi. Just go walk.
Right.
But no, it's exciting every day. I learn everything, new stuff every day, and I just like I said, reality checks and showing people come to you and are asking for help, and so I don't know. It's exciting.
Did you see a difference in ethnic backgrounds with COVID? Like, was some of your Hispanic clients more affected than some of your other clients, or
Yeah, I think you kind of have to look into that as far as how different illnesses can affect different ethnicities and groups. I think it goes down to now looking back, dietary, health, and then their job, their profession. I mean, imagine working 10-hour gruesome hours on a line in a cold, frigid area versus an office.
Right. Right.
Like that has an impact on your health.
Huge
Yeah.
impact.
Oh, a lot.
I know a lot of it was what I had heard. Some of it came down to pigment of skin too, the vitamin D.
Oh yeah, vitamin D is crucial. I don't do a workup without checking your vitamin D. I will,
No matter what.
no matter what. Just because did you know it's the only vitamin that our body creates?
Yep.
And so, look into that. Be interested.
I take vitamin D every day.
Good. Do you
K-
take it with
I don't.
K2?
Yep. K2, B3, right? Is it B3?
Perfect. Yep. Awesome. Good for you.
I go through spurts of vitamins. I
Or you come get
I have
an
a hard
IV
time
infusion.
just remembering to take
Yeah,
them every day.
compliance
It's
is
like,
tough.
I can't do it.
Compliance is
I
tough.
hate taking pills. I
Yeah.
can't stand taking pills.
Just get some bathing.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Well,
I-
Go to Florida.
I'm on a
once
farm,
week.
so my summertime I get plenty of
Right.
Sure.
sun. I get plenty of sun through the summer, but
Yeah, there's a lot.
obviously the winter affects my mood
Sure.
because I can tell if I'm out in the sun, I'm happy. I like the sun. And all summer, I'm in a much better mental
It's
health
amazing how much of an impact it
than
can
winter.
make.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's-
it's crazy.
Yeah, there's some science behind that for sure.
So I do the vitamin D, the K2 with the B3. I do zinc and vitamin C. Those are kind of the
That's great.
cocktail that I
Yeah.
go with.
You know what's even better?
What?
Getting it in your diet.
Right. And then, so what do you feel? No, I just do that because I don't eat too many meals in a day's time.
Sure.
During the day, if I eat something like for lunch, breakfast is usually fine. But if I eat lunch, I get so tired
Sure.
through the afternoon. So like, what do you recommend as far as like in your diet to get those
Yeah,
vitamins?
there's a science behind that. So, like if you really go down the rabbit hole,
Well, let's go.
carbohydrates and different foods like that can cause what's called glycemic index spikes. And what you have to realize is when you eat those types of foods, it'll make your blood sugar get driven really high. And if you see that type of person who eats that way, a lot of times you can see that they have a little bit of insulin sensitivity issues. And so imagine spiking your blood sugar and then
Then you get that crash.
you get
like
that
2 or
crash.
3.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I'm going to be trying a new thing called 30-30-30. And so
I think I've heard of that. Can you explain?
so
that?
yeah, so you wake up first 30 minutes you wake up, you eat 30 grams of protein and then you exercise for 30 minutes. And that's supposed to help with that glycemic index spike because most people who will wake up will go eat a granola bar or oatmeal or
I try to only do protein during the day. If I ever eat any carbs, it's usually at night, and it's usually like a.
you should see less crashes.
I do definitely,
Mhm.
but it's also probably not good to not eat, right?
I don't know. There's a lot of research that says it's good.
Really?
Yeah.
So I usually only eat like during the week. It's only one meal a day,
Yeah, I think
and at night, it's usually at night.
I mean, if you go really far back to when we first were humans. I think that's all we did. Really, sometimes not even eat once a day.
We had to go find it.
You had to go hunt for it.
That's the
Caveman diet?
no, what's the term?
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah, there's a term that you get into once you get to a certain point, it becomes
Ketosis?
ketosis.
Right?
Yeah, keto. You
Yes.
get into ketosis.
There's a lot of science behind that. And so every person is producing cancer cells. I don't know if you guys do that.
Yep.
And so the whole basis is if you, sugars and those things can be very distracting to the body. And if you eat it, it kind of gives the, I would say the ugly stepchild's, which is a cancer cell,
Yeah.
opportunity. And so they say if you fast, your body does a miraculous thing and it like destroys
them.
Yeah,
It's
I can see
crazy.
that.
There's I think if you do a 7-day fast sometime in your life, at least once a year, I don't know how many years your life expectancy improves.
It's crazy. I've only been able to make it 3 days.
I've done 5.
Have you?
It was horrible.
You just did what? Is it water, black coffee?
I did water and black coffee.
I think I could do like a day,
I would get
maybe 2.
It's a mind spiritual. It's a journey. Yeah.
my wife didn't like it because I got pretty irritable
Yeah.
by the.
What does that tell you?
I know.
Like sugar is
I know.
cocaine.
I try to stay away
Sugar's
from
terrible.
sugar.
It's
I
horrible.
really so in the last like year, well since COVID, and I had already kind of done it, but I've really changed my diet. You know, try not to eat out too much. I try not to eat too many carbs. If I do, it's brown rice or
Awesome.
you know,
Right.
a lot of protein.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you know, I don't drink soda very often, but I'll have
Right.
one every now and then.
Sure. Which I think is acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
But I
humans.
can tell it affects me instantly.
Yeah, you should do 5-day fast. You should do one.
You think so?
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
What should I do when I have the cravings then?
Man up.
Yeah.
I did man up. You said you couldn't make it a day. I made it.
Oh, I know.
I made it at
I
least
did
2.
I could go
can't
2.
even make it past breakfast.
I woke up. No, I can't do it. I'm
Got
done.
a headache. I'm
Quit.
done.
The coffee helps. When I was doing it, the coffee helped a lot.
I can't do coffee.
It's just hard. Like when you're sitting at home though. I could probably do it now that we've got the podcast going. I could keep myself busy. It's when I would sit down and do something. I'd be like, oh, I could just snack on something. Or I could, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take a different approach to it. I think. Yeah, it's a mental thing.
You're probably so busy you forget to eat.
I
though.
forget to eat.
Yeah.
I won't eat. That's the thing that makes it horrible. Is I probably get huge glycemic index spikes because what's the first thing I'll do in the morning? Huge cup of coffee with sugar and milk and
Creamer and everything in there.
yeah. And so, but my I just push through it, which
Yeah.
is but no, I definitely am gonna. I've been encouraging a lot of the 30-30-30 method and cold plunging to my patients.
I've almost. I was gonna buy a cold plunge.
I bought one. I
Did
created.
you?
Yeah.
Which one did you get?
The cold plunge, the legit,
Oh, the legit
the
one.
legit one.
I
And have you started using it?
I have to be ready mentally for it.
I try
Does
to
that gets
do
down to
myself.
what 34?
What's that?
Does it get down to about 34 degrees?
Yeah, it gets down cold, but the statistics and the research is no matter 50 degrees is the key number.
Okay.
Anything below that, you're not having any
You're
more
not gaining
benefit. You're not
Okay.
gaining anything,
Okay.
except for maybe like bragging rights.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I would just try to, like, I've never been in a cold plunge, but I try to do like I go to the Y and work out
Sure.
or whatever, and I try to take a cold shower. And
Good.
man, I mean, you feel good initially. You get that.
Mhm.
I mean, you can feel the oxygen.
Yeah, stuff
bring it
happens.
and everything. Like,
Mhm.
oh, this feels good, but then it's like, oh, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
stuff
done.
is
like it's good
good
too much.
stuff is happening in your body when that happens. Mhm.
Yeah, I did see it's a pretty dark meme, but I saw if the passengers on the Titanic had only heard of Wim Hof, they would all survive.
Oh, that Wim Hof guy is crazy, but he's a legend.
He's nuts.
Legend.
But
Yeah.
it's crazy that, I mean,
5
obviously
minutes
the human
of-
body can do a lot of stuff. A lot of
Yeah.
stuff that we don't know the human body can do, it can
Yeah.
actually do.
Yeah, it's all about healing. And
I finished my morning shower with cold.
A little bit
just
of
to
cold.
w-
That's
wake
good.
myself up. Yeah.
yeah, and they say it's better than a cup of coffee.
It is.
Mhm.
If you make yourself stand it
Mhm.
definitely wakes you up.
Yeah, no, it's I just got one, so if you guys want to come over, just let
Might
me
have
know.
to.
Yeah, I don't trust myself to just use my bathtub
Yeah. Why?
because I'm so busy.
Oh,
I've done it once. You fill it up with water. You put ice in it. It's just too daunting of a task.
right.
You have to have
takes a while.
something. Yeah, this cold plunge has its own filtration system.
It looks kind of like one of those inflatable hot tub type things, right? I've kind of seen them around. Is that kind of what that is?
A legit tub.
Oh, like a full size.
So he bought
tub.
he bought the full.
But yeah, there are those.
Because that's what
I
I
don't
was
wanna
looking
call
at.
it
It's like a little
knockoff.
pod.
Yeah, you know what I would have wished I knew? Just get a deep freeze.
Right. I've seen that
and
too.
then put the water in
Just
there.
put the
You
water
keep
in
it
it.
plugged in. You put the water in there.
And you can
and
go
it
to
works.
Walmart for like $50 and
Yep.
get a pool filtration.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
It's pretty crazy. I've seen that.
yeah. It's pretty easy.
Speaking of the plunges and stuff, Adam Carolla talks about it all the time. He doesn't use soap. He doesn't shower. He just showers he's got a cold lake or something right outside his house. That's how he showers every day.
Yeah. So if you don't use toothpaste, if you don't shower with good smell stuff, that says a lot about your health.
In what way?
That it's healthy.
Good.
Yeah. So if you see someone who can do that, it's a good sign. You're not supposed to. I mean, if you really want, we have all these things, but yeah, you're not supposed to use shampoo every day. You kill.
I don't.
You kill good bacteria. You
Right.
kill the good stuff too. They're the innocent bystanders you kill.
So I switched to like I want to call it organic deodorant, but like a roll-on liquid.
Yeah, without aluminum.
Right, without aluminum.
Aluminum
It's fragrance free, all that stuff. I've seen so much better results.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to. I think there's a period where it kind of sucks for your staff because they're probably like, man, Zach hasn't showered today.
No, I went through. It was about
There's
a
a detox
week and a half
period.
period where I stunk like
Yep.
a mofo.
Yeah.
But after that, all
Yeah,
good.
there's a great brand we use, Beauty Counter.
I don't remember what I've heard of Beauty Counter. My wife uses some of the
Good.
other products, but
Yep.
I can't remember which one it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to maybe use soap maybe once a week,
Mm-hmm.
just regular water.
I
Let
use
So
those,
how
let
does-
those oils.
How does that
Yeah.
work? I get that for. Yeah, you always hear these people say that, but then it's like people that just work in an office or work in.
Right.
How do you square that away with, say, a guy that works out on a farm? I mean, I grew up in the ag industry my entire life, so I mean, you get covered in cow shit, you get covered in dirt, you get covered in mud, you get covered in dust and pollen, and you got everything, and you just feel. I mean, you feel gross after a day.
Yeah. There's a saying in medical field for farmers. You know what that is?
What's that?
They don't come in until they're dying.
Yeah. I
mean,
hear that a
it's-
lot.
It's my life.
You know why? Because it's great. We want our kids to bathe in that stuff.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Right.
You guys are out there in the elements in the world. So I think that goes back to creating an ecosystem within yourself and really, really, really just supporting your
immunity.
immune system. Yeah.
Natural immunity is a huge
Yeah, so
thing.
farmers, are probably the forefronts, even though some may know it or not. But yeah, everything they get exposed to is good stuff.
That's a big thing at my wife's daycare. We make sure the kids are playing in the dirt,
It's awesome.
having fun.
Yeah, there's
We
a lot of good research on bringing that back. That's why I bought a farm.
Oh, that's good. What are you gonna raising animals?
Animals,
or
yeah.
What are you gonna raise?
I think cows, goats, chickens.
Chickens.
Oh yeah,
What kind of cows?
milking
Milking cows.
cows. We're gonna go straight. From
You're
the
gonna milk
teats.
your own.
Oh, straight from the teat. Just
You're gonna create a whole dairy barn, and then those kids are gonna learn, huh?
Oh,
you
gosh.
got three little helpers there.
No, it's
Just
gonna be
start
great.
at 4:00 in the morning.
We're so
and quit at
excited.
11:00 at night.
yeah, we're so excited.
I
It's
bet.
gonna be amazing. No, I think it's necessary. I think it shows a lot. Shows what discipline,
Oh yeah.
Work
Going-
ethic.
work ethic, and then going back to the root of like food, like naturally.
You know where your food comes from.
Yeah, farm to table.
I wish the
thing.
rest of the world would, or at least the United States would get back to that.
There's a
I
lot of
think-
people that just think it comes from a store.
I don't think it's anybody's fault. There's a lot of influence that
I feel like the education system
exactly
has
it
failed
lacks
people.
it. Exactly.
Um,
That's why if you educated people are dangerous, and so I don't know. You guys believe in that government making us blah, so that way we don't learn more. I don't know.
I've heard that. I've heard of that.
I think there's a
I
movie,
believe it.
a movie and a book about it,
But
like dumbing people down, so that way we don't do our own research.
but there's two different. So
they want
yeah,
they
you-
want that for
Yeah.
sure.
They definitely want that. And then
Oh,
you
yeah.
can talk about different definitions of educated, because then you have your educated idiots. I mean, you have your people that are educated, but they're just taught. They're fed they just get fed this government or what, I don't even know what it is. They just get fed something, some narrative, and that's how they think they're educated. They think they know everything, but really real world intelligence they don't really have.
I'll respect a person who will come and tell me, like, Jose, this. And if I ask you this question, how or why, and you can do it, I'm going to respect you and listen to you. But if you're like, I learned it on, I don't know, I just heard someone say it. It's like, what? Okay.
So with our podcast, and you said you liked the podcast, the useless assumptions one.
Yeah.
The reason why we wanted to do that was one for the reason of we wanted to make sure people were a little bit educated on, hey, don't just listen to everything you hear.
Right.
We like to hear both. Like I like to hear both sides of a story.
That's a good person.
And then bring it to the middle.
It's tough to meet people that can do that. You know that?
It is tough. I've learned that. That's why I don't have too many friends.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't get that about me either. I don't have friends, I don't think.
Well, I would consider myself one.
I think you are.
Yeah.
But I don't have very many friends for that reason.
Yeah. Do you have people that maybe think you're an asshole?
Yeah.
I get that a lot too.
Yep.
I
But I'm just careful
Everybody
who I
thinks I'm
choose. You have to be careful of who you choose you let in your circle.
Yeah, I agree. I have a very small circle. I have acquaintances and things, but I have a very tight-knit circle.
Yeah. I think I value respect. And if you're going to hang out with me, and if you ask me why, I'm going to respect you so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of fight me and then turn into a debate. Dude, I can't.
Sometimes debate's fun,
It
but
is fun.
You can't. It's when it turns into ad hominem,
Exactly.
and then it's like
it should be a positive debate. Like, oh yeah, you know what? That's actually pretty interesting.
Yep.
But what do you think of this?
Yeah.
That's very valuable, and that's very
And it's okay
helpful.
to disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As long as it's a healthy debate.
Yeah, it has to be a healthy debate, and you have to be open, and they can't get mad and butthurt.
Exactly.
And if you try to push an agenda on me, then I'm just gonna shut down.
As soon as it comes to name calling, I'm out.
yeah, peace out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, well, usually, anytime you get somebody doing ad hominem, you know that their argument's over. They're done. That's all they got.
Yeah.
They don't have anything else of substance. So
Right. It's hard to find those people. I think it's not their fault though.
No.
I don't know. I feel sorry for. I don't know. I see so many people, humans. I interact a lot with people,
Right.
and just seeing how much different kids are these days. And I think I could say it because I see so much of it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Their inabilities to think,
Right.
and research, and
You think it's a parental? It's funny you say research because they have access to all this.
it's crazy. It's at their fingertips.
Yeah.
But in social media, it's so influential.
Right.
So do you?
I get sometimes caught into that.
Yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever been on Facebook or TikTok?
Oh, all
and
the
been,
time.
All the time.
Hold on.
Like this looks like this is interesting.
But us three can see and see that content and be able to filter it, know how we see it.
But you're unique in that you can do that. A lot of people don't have that
I
ability.
guess I never thought of it that way.
Exactly.
So do you think it's research, an inability to research, or inability for critical thinking?
It's critical thinking lacks a lot in kids.
And
And it could-
adults too.
In adults too. And I don't want to say bad parenting because I don't think that exists, but definitely a lack of leadership and guidance.
I do think societal, from when I was a kid till now, parenting's just way different.
It's different.
A
A lot of people are scared. I love the tough love. I'm a tough love guy.
I'm a tough love guy too.
But you can't do that. You'll get canceled. Man.
Oh,
Sometimes when I see a parent coming in, they're like, all my kids want to do is this. I'm like, take it away.
take it
What?
away.
I can't do
There's
that.
no way. I'm like,
Have a
take
conversation.
It away.
That's my big thing.
We talk to them.
Him and I
Ask why.
Ask
Answer their
questions.
questions.
when
That
it,
is
when it
key.
came through, like we just talked about this the other day with my oldest when the whole George Floyd thing happened.
Oh, sure.
I let him watch the coverage from both sides of the spectrum.
Sure.
Before I ever even said anything to him, I said, "Hey,
awesome.
watch this. Listen to it. You
Good for you.
tell me how you feel about this, and then I'll give you my opinion." It was the coolest thing in the
That's
world.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's good for you. I want my kids to hang out with yours.
Well, we just
That's great. That's, yeah.
you have. I don't want to push. Like I don't want it to be the reason why they think a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
They need to develop their own
Correct.
way of thinking.
I think that's why I get in so many. That's why I don't get into relationships with people, because they have their own beliefs,
Right.
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but just hear people out.
I suppose
Be
that's why I
open.
probably wanted to do the podcast too, is because I enjoy talking.
Yeah, you're gonna meet a lot of cool people. I think it's
Two,
gonna be great for you guys.
It is. And
Yeah.
two, I love hearing other people's opinions on stuff, whether I agree with it or not.
Mhm.
I think it's important.
Right.
And obviously, most of what you've said has aligned with what I thought anyway,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Sure.
But even if it didn't, I'd still hear you out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of how I am. Like, I would love for everybody to think exactly like I do, but I
Right.
know I'm not right about
Right.
everything. So
yeah.
I like to
At least
believe
you
I'm right about
acknowledge that.
everything.
At least you
but
acknowledge it. A lot of people will not.
I think it's human nature to want everybody to think the same way you do too.
There's
I think
a little bit of narcissism in everybody.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But you just have to be able to know that, yeah, I'm probably not the right guy on this
Yeah.
one. I have a clouded view. I have
Sure.
a
Learn how to-
predisposition to
Mhm.
something that
Yeah. And it's just fine to have really, really kind of values and beliefs that are very, like, 100%, like, balls to the walls. But
Do you have a little bit more time?
yeah,
Can I pause this for a second so
Yeah.
I can take a pee break and maybe get some more beers? I'm
Absolutely.
loving this conversation.
sure, absolutely.
All right, we're back. Sorry, I really had to go to the bathroom there, and we had to get some more whiskey and make sure we were all ready to get hydrated here.
All prostates matter.
Yeah, all prostate.
Take care of it.
Yeah, you
And your
bet.
bladder.
You bet. So I know we were talking about a lot of different things. I did want to ask you, going back to like the functional medicine. Listening to Joe Rogan, he had Gary Brecka on.
Oh,
Have you-
yeah.
Okay, so the nutrient deficiency. What do you believe on that? Do you think, obviously that kind of goes right into the
Sure.
functional medicine. Can you explain some of that?
Yeah, I think he goes into the world of looking into the functions of our body. And I think his whole, because he's actually a human biologist.
Yep.
Not an MD, but an insurance guy who knows a lot of stuff. That guy's a smart guy. I looked into him really heavily, and I think he's a really intelligent guy. And so his whole basis and his beliefs, and it's very, very research driven. And so he doesn't just make stuff up. He has research behind it, where he believes that our bodies are deficient in something. There has to be some sort of mutation, or there's some sort of deficiency in something. And because of that, we have disease. And so understanding that and learning that and then treating that, like, you can change a person's life.
He's fixed. They fixed a lot of things. Like Dana White had hypertension, right?
Ton of medications he was on, I believe.
And they fixed it by one vitamin or
I think
something.
he had the MTHFR mutation.
Yeah.
I think 70-some% people have that mutation. So, and inability to methylate folic acid.
And was just taking medications out the
Yeah, his
ass.
MD was just giving him a ton of medication.
And one little simple test and
Just saved his life.
saved his life.
Changed him. I think he improved and lengthened his biological age.
So what this Gary Brecka could do is he does these these scans, or is it blood? I'm not sure what it is.
It's a blood test.
Blood test.
Yep.
And he'll give you like a mortality age.
Right.
So Dana was 53, and he said you're only going to live to 63.
He can get you down to the month that you're
Yeah,
gonna die.
really?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's scary. Would you guys do that?
I don't think I would.
Would you want to know?
I want to do it. I just don't. I haven't looked into it to see what it's going to cost.
I'm gonna do it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, let me know how it goes.
Mhm.
I'd
No,
love to
no,
know.
I'll-
you're gonna
I'll offer it.
You're gonna start offering.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
going to offer it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna do.
I'll be your first. I'll be your first one.
Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna do methylation testing and vitamin and mineral testing. So exactly what he does, genetic testing. So a genetic test, Zach, we'll do a methylation test on you, and then we'll check a deficient vitamin nutrient
Let's do it.
panel on you. Yeah.
I'll probably turn out to be a horrible person. I'll probably
whoa,
be
what is
dying
this?
in 5 years, but it is what it is.
Zach, we can help you out, but you got to do this in 1 year.
But I have noticed, I've I talked about before. I've changed my diet.
Yeah.
I've done all these things, and I still sometimes feel like shit. Now, obviously, I know I have some beers every now and then.
Sure.
But I've cut that back too. And
Sure.
it's like, what the hell is going on? And I know I'm getting older.
I think it goes down to Gary's concept and his basis on theory of medicine. Maybe there's, even though you are cutting down a lot, there's probably something that you're eating that is wreaking havoc.
Right. And you talked about the folic acid.
Yep, that's the basis of doing that test. Is there's that one little asshole that's causing you havoc, and so finding that out and just cutting that out.
So you're saying you can make me a supermodel then?
I think I can try.
Well, yeah, the M sculpt. We've already went over.
I know, but
with,
you don't
along,
even
along
need,
with the
no, you don't need the test.
No,
We're getting
no
the
test.
supermodel
Just-
from the other stuff.
yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I got a lot of before and afters.
But if you
We're proud of that.
if you go into that, I will.
Oh, we are going into it.
Oh, well, I'll come do it.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you're doing.
Yeah.
I'll be
No,
right
I think
there.
it's important.
I'll be your guinea pig.
There's a time and place for medication, but if I can do this and you're really wanting to know, like, let's do this. I'm excited. I want to help you.
So
Yep.
I,
Go ahead.
When you say that there's time and place for medication, I think if anybody's learned anything in the last 6 years, 5 to 6 years, I think people need to learn that. Like,
Sure.
I don't think we can just take. And I know you're in the medical field, but I have a hard time just believing pharmaceutical companies at face value.
Sure.
I mean, they're not exactly the most trustworthy
Right.
companies in the world.
Right.
There's obviously, they're in the business to make money.
Yeah.
And kind of one of the things that I think on that is obviously they were pushing vaccines when they have the horse dewormer out there. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
ivermectin, which is one of the
Heck yeah.
safest known drugs.
I think it's on the
in a long
CDC
time.
now for protocol for treatment of COVID.
Oh, they finally put that on there.
Is
huh?
it really?
Geez.
Not the dangest thing.
That's the dangest thing.
What was the
it
whole thing with the monoclonal antibodies? They stopped letting people do that too, but that helped my grandfather
I think, I don't know.
and my father actually.
I think it comes down to like medicine too. Kind of like it almost always ends up being a situation where there's so many simultaneously things happening, but what do we praise? The thing that we are told that is going to be the thing that benefited you, but there are probably other factors. But I mean, I know there are the monoclonal antibody treatments that were around that were told to be very effective. I don't know, like a patient of mine who comes in, and if you come in for high blood pressure, I'll be like, Zach, your blood pressure sucks. Here's lisinopril. But then I'm going to be like, hey, Zach, you should also do some magnesium. Oh, no, wait. A more easy one would be an upper respiratory infection. I hate upper respiratory infections. I hate them so much. Only because you're either a great provider or you suck based on an upper respiratory infection.
Really?
Did you know that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Explain.
I see it so much. Okay. You get a patient that comes in day one of an upper respiratory infection. Guess
So they're
what
going to
my...
get worse.
Yeah, they're going to get worse. But guess what my recommendations are? Freaking
Rest?
take some vitamin C, rest, freaking go sleep.
Right.
Guess what happens? They're not at their peak of the
They haven't
freaking
hit the-
illness. And then they're going to go to freaking your competitor.
Right.
Guess what they're going to do?
Same thing.
On day 4, no, they're
No,
going
they're
to
going to prescribe them something.
they're going to give them an antibiotic.
Yeah.
And guess what? Day 5 and 6, they're better.
They're already recovering anyways because they're already peaked.
Guess who's the hero in the story?
The antibiotic.
The antibiotic.
The antibiotic. But it was really, truly my recommendation of you doing vitamin C, vitamin D,
Right.
and zinc, and resting and sleeping and
Right.
hydrating and supporting your immune system. But I'm the asshole now because I didn't prescribe you the antibiotic.
Right. I'm the opposite. I don't want the antibiotic.
Good.
I want to get by without taking medication.
That's awesome.
And
That's,
my
it's
kids,
hard
too.
to. It's hard to.
No,
change
I know
that.
I know there are situations where you need to have it.
Absolutely.
you know.
There's a time and place. I wholeheartedly believe that. If I have a patient in here who has a really horrible pneumonia, absolutely, you're antibiotic. But if you come in with sore throat and you want an antibiotic, it's like, here are the options. And guess 9 times out of 10, they want the antibiotic.
Yeah, because they don't
Give the people what they want.
they want the
Zach.
quick fix. They want the quick fix.
So
And it's really, truly not that, but it's just the
Right, but they feel-
learn the
they
life.
feel like it is.
Oh gosh, learn the life of a virus and the lifespan of a bacteria, and 9 times out of 10, a provider is giving an antibiotic towards the end of its existence.
Right.
But then you're the hero because you give them the antibiotic.
because people
It was
don't
the
come in.
antibiotic.
Yeah, they don't
It
come in
was
until
it.
the end of it anyways.
Exactly.
Like okay, I
Exactly.
can't take this anymore.
Exactly. So it's hard as a provider. It's tough because I value my Google ratings.
Obviously, yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
you don't want those.
You don't want
one-star
those one
reviews.
ratings.
But I'm very conscious of that that scenario.
What's your view on antidepressants?
It's changed heavily.
So, what
It's
you against them, for them?
it's tough. It's tough because, and if you get a very studious straight A student, they're very book smart. But I think what makes people a lot more, at least for me, is people who aren't that book smart but are street smart and think outside the box. So if you go to like a institution where they have Harvard grads, they're so bred into the books, into the research, and that's the basis of why they're smart is research. And I don't want to say this in a bad way,
Or somebody else's research.
yeah, medicine is very, it can be very easy. And I only say that because there's literally a blueprint to it.
Right.
You literally can follow the guidelines of any institutional book, and you are not wrong. You're going to be told you're right. You're going to be told you're intelligent. You're going to be told you're the smartest doctor there is.
Right.
But I believe that the intelligent doctor is the one who's going to be looking outside of that and being like, hey, what about this?
I like people who question things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you get called crazy. And so I think antidepressants, I'm digging a little bit deeper into depression and mental health. And the reason why I'm looking deeper into that is I hate, and I do it, and it happens. I put patients on antidepressants, and I hate it. And that makes me, it doesn't make me feel like I'm a failure to them, but it makes me feel like I didn't put enough time into knowing why they feel that way.
I love the answer that
Yeah.
you just gave. That you do it, but you question yourself.
I can't rest sometimes when if you come in, you're like, Jose, I'm feeling depressed, and I make you fill out a questionnaire and be like, yep, based on this questionnaire, Zach, you're depressed. Here's Zoloft.
So
I hate it.
Yeah.
But I know my butt's saved if I do it because I did everything right.
I hear you.
which you can't in your position really say.
I
So,
can't.
like, I'm on the side. I'm obviously not, again, I have a hard time believing that depression is a thing.
Sure.
To me, it's mental. Just be stronger mentally. Like, just get it through your head.
It's not even just mentally. Sometimes
fight
it's
it.
because you're not taking care of your body. You're not working
I think that's
out,
a huge
you're not-
factor, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it has nature versus nurture. I think it comes down to that. I think it has a huge deal to it. So chemical imbalance, nutritional deficiencies, and how you were taught, and how you were. I think it has a lot to do with how you grew up.
So I took something in college. It was like my sophomore year of college.
I
I don't remember what. It was an antidepressant of some kind.
Sure.
The college
like Prozac or Zoloft. Or
I think it was
something.
Prozac.
Sure.
I think, and it was prescribed to me by the doctor's office at the
Sure.
college.
Sure.
And I felt worse.
Yeah.
On it.
Right.
It made me have more weird thoughts. More like, how does that work? Like,
I think there is a legit thing that we call placebo effect. And so the whole concept of antidepressant therapy is to increase serotonin. Serotonin is a hormone that should naturally be produced in our bodies. And there is data and evidence that shows that people who have depression may have some sort of serotonin imbalance or some deficiency. But the issue with putting antidepressants is it's chemically made. It's not natural. And usually if you dig deeper, there is a basis for that serotonin deficiency. And so it goes back down to mutation issues. It goes back down to nutrition deficiencies, to your sleep, to your activity level, to your overall environment. And so a lot of times if that patient can get pinpointed to that as the resource, essentially the source of their mental health issues, it ends up being that. And I've saved so many people from taking antidepressants on just taking a little bit closer look. And vitamin D3. I've cured depression with that.
I'm sure and that doesn't surprise me at all. I can tell when I take it and I miss it for a day.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah. So I'm excited to be introducing methylation testing, vitamin deficiency
That's
testing.
great.
Yeah. You guys should come in, take a look at it.
Well, I'm definitely coming.
Learn a lot about your just learn about your body. It's a one-time thing. You'll never have to do it. It can be costly up front, but it's well worth it because you'll never have to do it ever again.
What about the opioid stuff?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on,
I think it's just a scapegoat thing. I feel like as a provider, you have a responsibility to a human. You have a responsibility to a human that comes to you and trusts you.
Right.
It's so easy for any provider. It's just so you're so protected. So
as a provider, you mean?
Oh yeah. Because there's so many things that you're not wrong if you prescribe an opioid. You're not wrong if you prescribe antidepressants.
So on the opioid side, opioid side of it, I don't like take painkillers because it just knocks me out.
Right.
I mean, whatever it does, I'm just out cold. Mm-hmm. I rarely ever, unless I have a really bad surgery, I had an ankle surgery where they put a stent in my leg, and they told me the blocks were going to wear off at a certain time, and by God, they wore off at that exact point, and it's the most pain I've ever been in my entire life.
Sure.
Like my blood pressure spiked. I had my mom take me to the ER. I mean, I was miserable.
Sure.
So like I've never been. Maybe it's just me. I don't see how I could get addicted to an opioid. I don't see how that would happen. But I mean, it obviously happens to people. But
I think it depends on the personality type too of the person. Usually they're suffering from something, and it helps them.
But don't you want, like, at some point, don't you want to feel, like, don't you want the patient to feel something?
Yeah.
So I know on some of those opioids, you don't feel shit.
Yeah. It can definitely lead to issues.
Because, like, what if you are in pain and something else is hurting, and you can't tell anybody about it?
Mm-hmm. It's the basis of a diabetic with lack of sensation in their feet.
Wow.
They don't have pain. Same thing with the opioid. Yeah, it's deceiving, I think.
Very.
But very addictive, and not the patient's fault.
I feel like your antidepressants can be addictive too for certain people that just say, well, I'm depressed, so I'm going to take my antidepressant. And then they just, and like you talked, the placebo effect, so they just think, well, no, I'm no longer depressed because I'm taking this.
A normal, and then I'm making it a normal thing for them.
Yeah.
And if I get a new patient and they're on a bunch of medicine, I'll learn about you and I'll dig deep. A lot of people hate that because you're questioning another professional, smart person's ability to treat you.
Start taking them off.
You try to safely, effectively. There are consequences to stopping patient on those medications who've been on it for long
isn't
terms.
it bad to keep constantly taking a medication, though?
Absolutely.
Most all of them?
Absolutely.
You don't want to be on it for more than 60 days?
Absolutely. If your provider's telling you and they don't have a goal for you to be on any off of any medication, change doctors.
Yeah, that's.
If you go to a doctor, Zach, and he's like, "Hey, Zach, you got high blood pressure. Here's lisinopril. Here's a 2-3 month supply," and he doesn't say, "Okay, Zach, here's your blood pressure medicine. But next month, if you haven't changed your diet and you haven't done this and this, then we're gonna have a real talk. Yeah. And I better be able to take you off this blood pressure medicine off in 3 months."
I also hate when, and it's not just like, I don't want to talk bad on patients, but like when they don't change their lifestyle.
Yeah, you learn a thing called you can't save everybody's life.
Yeah, it's just I just hate people that rely on the drug, right?
Yeah,
and there's some doctors that just like, oh, I'll just keep prescribing it to you.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of times, again, goes back to that's what they're fed, that's what they're taught, and they're not doing anything wrong by anybody's mean. Like if you go into really researching it,
right?
There's research articles that are going to tell you, well, there's a research article from Harvard and in the England Journal of Medicine, very prestigious. And so, yeah, it goes back to, I don't know, learning from that C+ student who will not be afraid to look outside the box, which is what I am.
The scary thought is like, so I was going to say C+. So like there are plenty of doctors that you only have to get a certain grade, right, to graduate.
C's make degrees.
There you go. That's great. But you do some amazing things though. Like I'm not saying that's not what I was.
It's a learning thing.
I was not a very studious person.
I surprised myself. I graduated Midland with a summa cum laude.
Did you really?
I did. Graduated school at UNMC with I think a 3.4.
Well, then you're good. What are you talking about, C+ student?
Yeah,
but it was scare tactic driven
at the university.
It wasn't a learning. Yeah. It wasn't a learning opportunity for me as much as I wish it would have.
What do you explain on that?
I ask why, and it just wasn't very conducive to that.
So you were ridiculed for asking why.
I wasn't ridiculed other than I didn't have enough time. So imagine you come in, you go into an institution, prestigious, UNMC. You got to know buzzwords. You got to know certain answers. You got to answer that test question. You got to get a 98%, Zach. Otherwise, you suck. You don't know what you're talking about.
So
Guess what I was doing?
What?
I was freaking learning the whys. I was looking at the pathways. I was learning what the heck happened here.
Right.
That's what I learned.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'd get a B. But guess what? I was never, ever going to forget why you got that disease.
Right.
Because I didn't just learn A plus B. I mean, I just didn't just learn the final answer.
Right.
And so that's what made it harder for me to be in that model of education. It's just it wasn't very conducive to me.
But
to
you
learning.
had to go.
I
through
had
it.
to.
You
do
had
it.
to go through it.
And so I was on a time crunch. So I was spending hours and hours learning. And at the final days of a test, I would be freaking crunching into my brain.
You maybe have doubled the study time of, let's say, another doctor that came through the same time you did.
I feel like I wasn't afraid to learn, and I wanted to know why. Because my fear was that if you as a patient came to me and I wasn't able to explain it to you, then I failed you.
I think you're speaking on the test side of it. I think you're speaking to what I went through. Like, I didn't finish college. Part of it was poor habits. I partied a lot and just didn't go to class. But
Sure.
I also hated the structured.
Right.
I hated high school. I hated school.
Sure.
My valedictorians and stuff.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to
Sure.
the test scores that I could get.
Sure.
Even in math classes,
Sure.
you got to show your work. Why do I got to show my work when I can? It's in my head.
Sure.
How'd you get this? Well, I did this, and this.
Unfortunate.
Well, I never taught you how to do that. Well, I don't care if you taught me how to or not.
You're a
That's the
cheater.
answer. There's the answer. I just showed you how to do it, and that was something I just had I always had a problem with that. I couldn't do homework. I hated homework. I couldn't study, but I'd get 100 on a test. I'm not studying for a test.
Yeah. It's not realistic for an institution or a school to try to role model that type of education to everybody.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think there are a lot of smart people out there, but a lot of people are just book smart.
So
And they want to get that A because it's a reward system for them. And screw that. Let's learn. It's
what do you value more, street smarts or book smarts?
street smart.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way.
Yep.
So do you outside
so it
of
can go both ways. I mean, in my opinion, you can
That's right. You can have both.
both.
you can have both. I guess what I'm
talking. So when I think book smarts, I think somebody that just memorizes a book.
Yeah,
Memorize,
yeah.
study.
There's so
Just
many people
study
that
and
Right.
write my notes.
Yep.
and-
right.
Yeah,
but I
you'll-
can only remember it for this test.
Yeah. You'll have that classmate valedictorian, guarantee.
They don't remember what
Oh,
happened.
heck no. But there are
That's
those
kinda what I'm
very
getting at.
rare instances where, you get a very intelligent person who
Can do both.
exactly took the time to know the why and just didn't learn the test questions.
My question on what I was going to get to is, what is your thoughts on college outside of specifying into something like the medical field or
The STEM, the
accounting,
STEMs.
or just if you're just going to, and I'm not I can't really give an example, but
So just so you,
let's talk business. Just a business degree.
yeah, just going to get a business degree. I don't
Right.
feel like that's necessary.
right, I agree.
So you wholeheartedly agree.
Absolutely.
If you're going for
hurts me
business
to-
administration,
It hurts me
don't
to
do
see
it.
college students going to communication degrees, business
Oh,
degrees.
yeah.
It hurts me because
Women's
they're
studies.
indebted to this institution.
yeah,
And again, it's not their fault.
it's
They-
not.
A lot of these leaders get put in these positions where, they're just following protocol. They're just following rules, and this is what it is. But I think if you look into the actual human and individual who gets put into these positions and get these degrees, 9 times out of 10, they are doing other things that doesn't really necessarily need or require that degree.
So I didn't finish college,
Right.
and I'm in the position that I am.
You're doing great.
Took a few tests, did
Sure.
my thing. Don't have a communications degree,
Yeah.
but we're doing a podcast.
Right.
You know,
Your real life experience.
Yeah.
We're homeschooling our kids for that reason.
yeah. And I want to get to that point. Actually, I'd love to attempt that, but and this is going to make us sound really bad, but I don't agree with how the college system works. Yes, your degree needed to be done through college.
Right.
There are plenty of other things, but there's trade schools. You know, we need
absolutely
plumbers. We need electricians that we're getting less and less of.
Right.
And we need more of them. And I
Right.
think if people realized that as an electrician, they could probably make as much as the doctor sitting across from me.
My neighbor's an electrician.
Yeah.
And his house is bigger than mine.
Right. Exactly. If people just understood that.
Yeah.
And that's a 2-year degree.
Yeah.
Well, not 2-year degree. Sorry.
It's an apprenticeship.
It's an apprenticeship journeyman thing. So it takes a long time.
I think your idea is don't get
down on yourself. Degrees.
Don't get down on yourself for pursuing something that don't follow the stigma of you have to do a 4-year degree to be successful.
I think there's starting to become a lot more colleges or different forms of education. I know like Dr. Jordan Peterson and his daughter Michaela Peterson they're starting their own little school that is going to teach you a little more critical thinking type of stuff.
That's awesome.
It's not going to be a degree that's going to get you a job at the New York Times, but do we need people to get a job at the New York Times anymore? They kind of got their own problems going on, but I just can see like I think it's going to build up more and more, just like the homeschooling is building up more. Pod schooling is building up more, like families going homeschooling together.
Awesome.
Because that's
I think they call them homesteads.
We've actually looked into that. So I was, and my wife doesn't want to do it, and I've been really trying to push her to do it. She's running the daycare. I'm like, can't you come up with a curriculum? So she doesn't want to run it.
Oh, it's tough, especially since you have to deal with other kids. Families' kids, other parents' kids, but that have the same ideologies as you.
But it would bring in like-minded people.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean. So
I think you have to be ready to have, and it sucks to say, but very little like-minded people.
So is right? I agree with you. Just like
we
talked
about. It's beautiful when you can be able to influence someone and be like, "Hey, check this out.
This is the right way.
Check it out."
So
just look at it. I'm not going to convince you.
Is your wife doing that then?
We're going to do that. Yeah.
You haven't yet. You're going to.
Yeah, we're going to. Yeah.
So you've looked into.
We instill those practices and those models in our house, but if we have the ability to influence and to show, and I promise you, it's not going to be a situation where it's you have to do this like a cult. It's not going to be a cult.
No, it's never.
make sure. That,
yeah, make sure a lot of people are like,
"Oh, that sounds like a cult."
No,
it's just
it's pulling away, and it's actually making more critical thinking.
Yes.
Because I can tell you right now, my son doesn't learn enough in public school.
Sure,
he doesn't. He learns more at home from me, from my friends.
That's the way it should be. Yeah, you're a great dad.
Yep.
I think there should be more of that, and it also goes down to. Even in places like Norfolk, we're a blue collar town. Like, let's just get it, straight.
That's true.
9 to 10 job. Like, I feel so bad sometimes that I can't be at home and teaching the kids something because I have an ability to create businesses and to employ people.
But you're creating an environment for your kids.
That's what I'm hopeful of. That's
what you're doing. Though.
Passively learn it, but you should also be very present and show them.
You should, but you're also creating the wealth in the environment for them to be able to do well in the future.
That's right. But
they're still young, right?
There's a fine line too because guess why I'm like I am? Because I suffered through it.
Right.
I went through some shitty times.
And you probably had some big hurdles going through medical school.
Massive, and I'm Hispanic.
That's what I mean. So
I got a ton I got this card stacked against me.
Right. It's tough.
Hispanic, and luckily I'm a male, so that helps a little bit.
It's all about the patriarchy. So, we run everything,
but
supposedly
it's tough.
So, what kind of hurdles did you run into as a Hispanic?
Gosh, it's. Have you heard of Fremont, Nebraska?
Yeah.
We were the first city in the state. I think it was in the country to pass a law to screen Hispanics for the abilities to rent or own a home.
What do you explain that?
Yeah.
In 2000, I would say 6, 7, the city of Fremont decided that if you in any way wanted to be able to lease or own or rent a home, you had to improve your abilities to be a citizen.
But
otherwise,
you were already
an American citizen.
But the backlash you get on it for being brown.
But you were already American citizens.
Right, but a lot of people...
I guess I'm just trying to get it. So they were trying to make already American citizens show they were more of a citizen.
Right. You got to prove yourself.
I don't agree with that.
Right. Fremont, Nebraska.
But isn't that just the same that everybody's got to prove that you're citizen? Just
That's
like
true.
showing
it
ID?
should be. But it ended up being a very, very biased thing.
Gotcha.
And it set the city up for a very uncomfortable situation.
And there's a lot of industry there where Hispanics
If you
are
came
working.
in and you were Caucasian looking, you're like, oh, this guy's for sure an American. But guess what? They're Canadian.
Right.
But walked in Jose.
Right.
Like, hey, you sound like you're from here, but
Yeah.
just kidding.
No, wait, no, yeah. It's yeah.
No, I pride myself for the ability to be able to do what I do, and be able to surpass all those barriers. I jump those hurdles.
You're
It's been
doing
amazing.
great.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I guess the other thing I want to ask you too is
I'm in a biracial relationship too, so that makes it huge.
that is
You're just
My
you're
wife
checking
is
all the
white.
boxes.
not only that,
all the
she-
boxes.
Go big
she's
or go
a
home.
redhead.
She's a redhead.
She's a
blue-eyed.
fiery redhead. Yeah.
You got Irish
Yeah.
in there too.
Yeah.
She's Irish. My kids
Yeah.
are really they're cute. They're adorable.
Yeah, they're
I
gonna
love
be
my kids.
they're gonna be fiery.
That's right.
But what I was gonna ask you though is, and I wasn't gonna ask this, but I'm gonna ask it now since we're kind of on the subject.
Mhm.
Is how do you feel about immigration across the border?
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Right.
Are you open to how we have the open borders? Would you rather have it be? No, I'm all for immigration and having
Sure.
people come through, but I
Sure.
want them to do it the right way, so
Right.
we're not letting in the wrong people, right?
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, we fortunately did it the way, the country intended it to be done. So we came across legally. Dad became a naturalized citizen. Mom became naturalized citizen. And then
And actually, it's harder to come from another country, take the test, and
it's
become a
crazy.
citizen. It's
Oh,
hard.
I remember those years, like super, super stressed.
They're saying like 85 to 90% of the American citizens couldn't answer the questions.
That's
on the
right.
test.
That's right.
I would venture to guess most high school students couldn't. I mean,
Right.
there's high school students in inner
Right.
cities that can't read at their own level.
Right.
So
So anyway, go ahead.
I think there's value in knowing, and then there's a little bit of pride people want to come here.
Yeah.
Like, so that part of it's like,
So we got to keep, in my opinion, you got to keep that. You can't water it down.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's still got to be that thing that we're attaining
yeah,
to.
you gotta have to be able to be like America,
Yeah, it should be something to be attained.
that's
kind
right.
of seems
Not
like
just-
the last stop.
Right.
Like if this goes,
So what you're saying
Where do you
is you're
go?
against open borders.
It's
Not to speak for you, but
yeah, it's tough. There's a lot of different situations. I don't know, and it probably goes down to my personality to knowing each individual's situation.
we think that way, right?
Right,
Because
so,
every
we
individual is
generalize
different.
everybody.
We
yeah.
can't generalize.
That's kind of probably what.
But that's why we have the system that we do,
exactly.
so that everybody gets looked at. Everybody
Right.
get. Yeah.
Yep. So there are processes to allow and give opportunity, and those should be looked at. And when
And I'm all for the
Mhm.
the process.
Sure.
I would love to have more people. The more people we have that want to be in this country,
Sure.
and love this, just like you.
Heck yeah.
You love this country.
Yeah,
and
it's been a great.
You've
great for
prospered.
us,
You've
my family.
prospered in this
That's
country.
right. American dream.
True American dream over here.
Heck yeah. No, I'm definitely proudful of it.
I was trying to think if there's anything else on the medical side that I wanted to discuss. Is there anything else you want to talk about on the medical side?
well, we're gonna go back to the mental health of it side real quick. When we were talking about the antidepressants and people with depression and stuff like that, and this is just from like my side of it.
Yeah.
When I made the comment, I said I have a hard time believing in the depression because we all have. Everybody's got a dark day. I mean, I have my thing, and to me, it's like, well, I'm just gonna go decompress, and
Absolutely.
I'm gonna take a night to myself. I'm just gonna sit there. I'm gonna play a video game, or I'm gonna read, or I'm gonna watch something, and I'm just not really gonna socialize with somebody. And you just fight through it.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of scares me, and then I think of I feel like there's brain issues, mental issues, and then there's brain injuries, and I believe the CTE thing's the CTE is a real thing, and it scares me a little bit. I've been a little bit of my background is I've been hospitalized like 12 times for concussions as a younger kid.
Sure.
Bunch of times, lots of concussions, enough to where like I'm on a Ferris wheel and I'm getting dizzy. So it does scare me a little bit just thinking about that and seeing some of this stuff. Obviously, I would never played in the NFL and that type of stuff. So those guys are getting much worse injuries, but it feels like there's a possibility that could be a thing down the road. And it just, what do you think the difference between like a mental health and physical brain injury? Is there really a difference between that, or?
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but the brain is just isolated within our skull.
Right.
And
It's just floating there.
It's just floating there. It's crazy. And the brain has no nerve ending. And I mean that by it doesn't hurt you.
Right.
But the dirt around it and the skull and the skin has pain sensors. And so, you get hit. We take it lightly. But you got to, it's definitely stuff is happening. But there are a lot of research that shows that is there a possibility of regeneration and it goes back to like the lifestyle of fasting and goes to the lifestyle of like what the whole intention of fasting and the whole intention of cold plunging is to be able to essentially eliminate the body of anything man-made that's not natural to itself, right? So when you do this, you're essentially clearing and essentially detoxifying your body of anything you've put into it. And the goal is to eventually reintroduce stuff that's healthy. And so when that type of stuff happens, you could potentially cause some regeneration. But no, when it comes to physical trauma and injury, there are MRIs and there are studies that show that there is physical damage to these things. But now it should be a goal of whoever you're seeing to be able to determine if there's some sort of solution or some sort of regeneration to synapse those nerves that are damaged or reconfigure your brain.
Have they proven that can be done?
Yeah.
On CTE? Like,
I
know that
CT is a little complicated.
It's a newer thing.
It is very new.
Just coming up. So
especially with Will Smith recently doing his debut. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
But no, I mean, concussion injuries, post-concussion syndrome, all those things are legit.
So him and I both. So I have the same thing. So as I've aged, I played football. I was a linebacker. Went through many concussions, and I've noticed that my short-term memory
not the greatest
goes away. Yeah.
I think it goes down to inflammation. And I think that's the disease basis of most things is inflammation. And
so what are ways that us in the audience can reduce inflammation?
How you eat. And that's a huge part of it. And so there's a lot of research around things you put in your mouth. You are what you eat. It's legit.
Because I've noticed when I eat well, take the vitamins, everything kind of comes back.
That's right. So I mean, most disease states you are what you eat, and so
obviously when I put alcohol in my body, it goes away.
Hey, they say 1 beer a day is good.
That's a whole nother thing.
That's why I want to record the conversation. That's why I want to record the conversation.
2 beers for a man is normal.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
No, it comes down to inflammation. So most disease states are inflammation based, and so they say, how do you reduce inflammation? Disease states come from inflammation. Guess what? Every human's not made the same.
Right.
You probably could do oatmeal every day, but hey, you probably can't. Your stomach can't tolerate it. And so you're creating inflammation. That inflammation doesn't allow things to work.
Milky type products for me.
The analogy I like giving my patient, this is very elementary, but the way I like to put it to most patients to be able to have them grasp it is a broken wrist or a injured wrist. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to let it rest. But anything else, we avoid and we neglect and we don't listen to our bodies when it comes to something internal.
Because we want
your gut.
Right.
Like, man, who cares? I'm going to eat that double cheese
the gut's
right now.
Real important.
Oh, gosh, it's so important.
So good going down.
So my basis of like bringing that up is a lot of things that are inflammatory based, the symptoms are very simple, like a headache or a joint ache or a stomach ache
or bloating
or diarrhea. That's all inflammation. And so you did that to yourself.
Right.
That was your fault. But it's not your fault because you didn't know.
What is your fault?
But then you keep doing it over and over.
It's like lactose intolerant people eating ice cream.
Who cares? I mean ice cream.
I do it.
Are you lactose intolerant?
A little bit.
And you just
yeah. Every once in a while. No, I don't. Not all the time. But I just every once in a while I'm gonna do it. Ice cream
just
tastes
punish
so
that
good.
toilet sometimes.
But what's rough is that like when I want to go out and do something, I got to make sure I eat the right thing or whatever. Because if I eat the wrong thing, then I gotta be around a toilet. You know.
So then most people will say, "Well, Zach, how do you prepare yourself for that?"
I just don't do what I prepare myself by not doing what I know will.
But there's a
affect
thing
it.
where I tell my patients, like, "Hey, like you're a human. Like freaking food is good. Hamburgers are amazing. Pizza's amazing. Hot dogs are amazing.
They are.
But how do you go around being able to tolerate that? Like you have to there's a little give and take. So like really prepare your gut for that food that's going to cause you harm.
So how do you prepare your gut then?
A lot of it comes down to dental health. A lot of it comes down to dietary health.
Never heard dental health. I've never been told about that can affect your gut.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
So brushing your teeth or
yeah, it's amazing. So Trino, my brother, is a dentist.
Yeah.
Biological dentist. Miboka Dentistry in Omaha. Got a couple practices. You go check them out. And so microbiome. And so the basis of it is diseases come from your mouth.
I've also
bacteria.
heard if you have like a bad, I don't know what you would call it, but something bad going on back here or what would it be? Like a root canal type thing. It can affect the rest of your whole body.
Guess what? A lot of surgeons, and just to get some context, a lot of people who are undergoing joint surgery. Guess what? One of the most, and it's really overlooked. Guess what's one of the most a common preoperative exam would be?
Oral.
A dental exam.
Yeah,
Go to your dentist. Yeah. So what does that tell you?
Well, it tells a whole lot.
A joint infection from a post-surgical joint is because of a dental infection or a dental issue. So a lot of these orthopedists and a lot of these doctors acknowledge that, but they really don't look into it, or they're not putting the two together like crap. Like we should tell our patients to really take care
I've heard a
of
lot of that where the mouth is like the center of.
Yeah, he wrote a book. You should read it.
Trino?
Yeah.
Well, you never told me that before.
Let's plug the book.
Yeah, plug it, right? What's it called?
It's microbiome. I think. Let me
look it up.
We gotta plug it right.
Yeah, I've never met your brother yet, but you've talked a lot about him to me.
Yeah, he's a great guy. You should meet him.
Yeah,
I think he'd be.
Maybe he should come on. Maybe he should come on the podcast.
He would be a better
you're
podcaster.
Better than you?
I think so.
You thought you were gonna be bad.
He's an amazing human. I learned from him.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the master. He's the Miyogi.
You talked about.
So I mean, if I'm gaining my my information off of that,
Well, there you go.
I'll definitely
plug his book
let me look it up.
You talked about expanding. What's about bringing a dental practice into your practice and a little bit of getting him to join in with you?
Funny you ask.
That's in the
might be
plan,
doing
son.
that.
The microbe in your mouth. A beginner guides discover it in the feudal war against germs is harmful to your health. Dr. Trino Nuno.
Repeat the beginning of that.
The microbe in your mouth.
The microbe in your mouth.
Yeah,
Available anywhere?
Amazon, anywhere.
I'm gonna order it right now.
You should do it. I think you'll learn a lot from it. And go check him out, Miboka Dentistry. But no, definitely. I think he actually, we kind of joked about possibly doing, and I'm in the same way. I think you did a great thing, Zach, of just really kind of going full forth with this.
The podcast?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Well, I wanted, and hopefully it gets to a lot of people. That was my whole goal.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's hard to, I've noticed, like I was telling him, so I created a Facebook page about the podcast.
I think I liked it today.
You did?
Yeah.
But when I share something from that page to my own page, it gets zero traction. So it's almost like it's been shadow banned or like.
No, I think it's normal.
You think so?
I think, yeah. I think you have to believe in what you're accomplishing.
Because like when I put stuff out on my own page, it gets so many likes. But then when I share it to my page from another page, it's like people don't see it.
Sure. I think it's a little, and it may seem rough to say, but I mean, we've had really good feedback from our friends and stuff like that. And
our friends, yeah.
Looking at, I think it's a natural human thing to not everybody. Certain people will jump in and fully support anybody in anything they do,
which
and
then you
did. There's a
I
lot.
I appreciate you so much for doing that. You
Absolutely.
went right in. You're like, I'm gonna fucking listen to this.
Heck yeah.
Like,
I
think
this is a local guy trying to do something different. Like,
but not
I'm
everybody
all about
thinks that way.
I think there's some people that just have a hard time believing
sucks.
or wanting to do that.
Well,
I mean,
And a lot of it,
I'm sharing your page today. I don't have friends again. Sorry,
You're good.
I'll share it.
but a lot of it goes. But a lot of it goes back to the
Yeah, I'll share it with Josie and Apollo.
right. But a lot of it
My
goes back to
2-year-old,
the imposter
4-year-old.
syndrome thing, where it's like, okay, can I do this? And then it goes to, well, maybe those people don't want to like it because they wanted to do it and didn't do it.
Right.
So they're not going to like it. They're not going to share. They're not going to do anything because they.
Sure. No.
And we don't know that that's true. I mean, it's hard to.
I don't know that's true, but that's
Yeah.
what I feel,
Yeah, I could see that.
and I ain't afraid to say it.
Hey, I think the value in
I don't.
in what I'm about to share is you got me to listen to it. And
I did.
if you see my podcast types, and there's not very many.
Yeah, that's good. So
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm like anything special, but I think you guys do a lot of great things, and so
We're trying.
I think the diversity of the different types of people you'll have on here will probably be helpful.
It is, and I want to have anybody and everybody, whether I agree with what
Yeah,
they
debates, healthy debates.
No, not even just healthy debates, just
their thoughts.
their thoughts.
Yeah.
Heck
And
yeah.
I'm gonna let them speak. Like you've noticed, I asked some questions, let you speak on everything you want to speak on.
I kind of feel bad sometimes.
Don't feel bad. That's
My personality type is, and it's a book
you
I
walked
read.
in here saying you were an introvert.
Yeah, you said.
And now you've literally been talking. We're over 2 hours.
I think it's a book you read. It's called How to Make Friends and Influence Them.
I've heard of it. Yeah,
I've heard of it.
And so what you do
it was
is
funny is that so you're gonna be episode 2. I recorded episode 3 a couple days ago,
Uh-huh.
and he's
Did you
plugged the
quote
same
that?
book.
Well, I mean, I listen to your podcast. So
Yeah, yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
No, it comes down to that. I'm really good at human interaction and learning how to turn on and off certain things. But no, absolutely.
So I do want to get into your. We haven't even come close to your real estate ventures yet.
Yeah.
So do you want to plug some of that while
Yeah.
you're?
Do a lot of residential, family, triplex, multifamily units, and then also really digging deep into the commercial aspect of the world.
So you bought the Max.
I bought the
which was
Max.
over on Brosh.
Right.
It's a pretty long building. So you bought the whole building, right?
About the whole building. It's probably footprint's about 10,000 square feet, a little
Yep.
bit more, give and take.
Very narrow, right?
Very narrow,
Yeah.
but it's got an interesting history. NIM.
Norfolk Iron Metal. Yep.
Yeah.
Downtown warehouse is right behind it.
Fur and hide.
Yep. Yep. Used to be a fur and hide place.
Great history.
Lots
I
of fur in the
recently,
basement.
Exactly. I uncovered a lot of great nostalgia
Really?
on the walls of their growth. They're essentially their initial stages of how they became who they are now. And it's another exciting part, being part of and having that history in Norfolk. And so we bought it 2020, and the expectations and the hopes for that building is to make it a really, I don't want to say high end because that scares a lot of people.
You can say it, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I do a lot of social media checks,
you're good.
and anytime you say high end,
It's not good
it's not
because
good. You get a lot of backlash.
it goes dollar signs. It goes.
It
yeah.
goes dollar signs.
Yeah.
Instead of quality, instead of where it comes
Yeah,
from,
right.
it comes down to the dollar signs. So we're gonna have a steakhouse, is what we're saying. And then we'll also have some luxury apartments on the up part of it. It's kind of interesting. And the history is there's a lot of different additions to it, so it's a very unique building structurally. A lot of people don't have the vision like I do for it. Obviously, I had FOMO of wanting to be downtown. No one would sell me a building. And so when this one came up,
You're only a block off.
I'm the Blackstone of Norfolk.
You
Right.
got better parking there though
Heck
too.
yeah. I'm going to
Yeah.
create something.
Would you had to fight for that?
Yeah. I fought for it from the... Yeah.
You can talk about that if you want.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Our neighbors,
Yep.
they weren't very too keen from anybody being there whatsoever. So
Right.
it's funny because I didn't know the situation I was in until I really got into it
Yeah.
deeply. And so there was an agenda, I think. And so if we wouldn't have won a reason, so the situation is Norfolk downtown is zoned a certain way.
Yep.
And it's the ability to be able to have no parking abilities, regardless of the number of patrons you're going to have in your building.
Right.
any other institute, any other area in town, if you're not zoned a certain way, you have to have parking requirements.
Parking lot.
And so we were zoned a specific way where for each patron, you should have a certain number of amounts of, and we were going full steam on this project until I kind of was able to look back. I'm like, hold on, how are we zoned? And I'm like, oh, if we don't get zoned a certain way, we don't have a parking lot. We can't do anything here. We can't do our restaurant. We can't do our wedding venue. And so I acted quick and went to the city council and got it rezoned. And luckily we succeeded. But yeah, our neighbors were not too keen on that, and really were anti. And I don't think it was anti Jose. It was more so anti anything there.
It wouldn't have mattered who bought it.
I don't think so.
In my opinion, I don't think it would have mattered.
Right.
They were going to be stuck in
I don't
their
take
ways.
it personally. They have a really nice parking lot there, and they want to protect it.
But it's huge.
It's massive.
But I think can accommodate both places.
Yeah, I think it's the lack of the vision that they should have been able to be able.
My
to
other question is the parking lot caddy corner.
Yeah, I think that's
Isn't that downtown parking lot?
there is one to the east, to the west of us. Or
To
are
the-
you
to
talking
the
about
south and
Norfolk
west.
Iron?
I'm talking about behind the old city auditorium.
Oh
well,
yeah,
that's on the other side of Para.
Yeah.
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 yeah. Patrons can park there.
Yeah.
And then the thing that kind of is
So
great for
What
downtown.
I'm saying is there's plenty of parking.
There's
for
plenty of parking.
You
everybody.
can walk to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to create jobs. So we're going to hire a person to do some valet parking. That's what we're all about.
You'd be the first valet in town.
That's right. We want to create jobs.
I
We
love
wanna
valet. I love valet
create
parking.
economic growth.
I
That's
like
what we're
that.
all about.
I like that.
Yeah. We want to give some people some abilities to.
So what about your Airbnb back here?
So
This is on Vergis
this is
Street.
on Burgess. We did a 3-unit plex. It's my old office, about 2,300 square feet. Ended up going into a unique situation where I was able to meet with an architect, and we were able to really get the most out of the square spacage.
You really did.
Yeah.
You showed it to me.
It's amazing. You haven't even seen it, Zach. You should come check it out.
Well, I came and saw the
finished product. You haven't
not
seen it.
finished, not finished, but I saw the initial
Yeah.
what you were doing. I was
Yeah.
like,
So we got 3
I
units.
was like,
out
how
of
the
it.
hell did you get this in there?
I know. I love showing it off because it's a definitely unique.
I want you to
situation.
talk about the back of it though,
Yeah.
and then the problems you had with that.
Yeah, it was tough. Obviously, again, going back with rezoning was something that it's a learning thing. So rezoning to a lot of issues with the construction phases to the completion of it. It's just been tough, and even going through some roadblocks right now. I don't know if you guys are new this or not, but Norfolk isn't really Airbnb friendly.
Mm-mm. I knew it wasn't because there's not too many around. I think you may be not one of the first ones, but you're definitely in the
High luxury. There's not very many.
no.
And so I've been met with a little bit of resistance, which is okay. I want to hear them out, and I want to be able to learn. And
What was the resistance you got?
the resistance is that in any particular situation where you have a multifamily unit, only one of them can be of short-term lease. And by definition, a short-term lease is a amount of time that a specific tenant can be in there for less than 30 days.
Yeah, it's 30 days, and
And so we're in a tough situation where we're learning this year 1.5 of doing this, and now it's just like boom, we get hit. And so it's kind of like that's where I thrive, to find solutions, to find fix problems, meet with officials, and come up with a solution to.
You've always come to a solution of some kind.
Yeah, there's no
every
there's no
adversity I've
value.
seen you come through.
Yeah, there's no value in fighting someone, learning and being able to follow rules, I guess,
Adapt.
Yeah, you had to adapt to it. And so you don't win anything into trying to fight someone and try to, make it your way.
Right.
So, we're learning. There's things that, we just learned yesterday. So it's interesting, but,
They're great. It's a great space.
it's amazing space. It's available.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to come in.
Right.
Well, I thought it wasn't available because you can't have 3 units
No, it's
in there
there.
right now.
It's
Oh,
there.
it's done. We're good.
It's ready to go.
It's ready to go, but
But what I wanted you to talk about
gotta
was
be a little longer
was the
than 30 days.
concrete to grass thing.
Oh yeah, there's a green space requirement you have to have.
Yeah. He had to go in and explain that.
So whenever you do anything residential, you have to be able to create what's called green space, and it makes sense. You know, it's we want to protect the environment, but you have to be able to produce a property that has a certain amount of non-construction based architecture, and so learned how to do a lot of green space.
But you only had to do, it was a 10 by 10 spot.
Yeah.
It was already concrete as a commercial building. He had to create a 10 by 10 green space to have this happen.
Anybody
I'm a
that
refaller.
thinks government, we need more government. We need more government like I need a hole in the head.
Do you want to talk about the land you bought?
I bought a 10-acre, 11-acre lot that is off of Victory Road, which it should be exciting for the Norfolk community. And yesterday I was met with an email from the city officials regarding my Airbnb unit. And we quickly learned that when you own a multifamily unit, there's only one of them. And I can cite the specific code that was given to me. But essentially, we're not really allowed to have many short-term leasing kind of dwellings within one certain vicinity. And so the basis of my Victory Road endeavor was to create a destination site. And it's a recreational site that we're going to be able to produce a little, I want to call it a pond because it's not a lake, a man-made pond within a 11-acre lot where we will produce around 15 A-frames. And it's a ability to do what's called glamorous camping.
Glamping.
It's glamping. Yeah. And so we're planning on having this as an option, but now we're kind of, after we were really recently shut down, we're kind of re-looking at things. And so
to me, it just seems like it's an arcane, weird code that
I want to know. I want to learn.
purpose.
So that goes back to like even medicine. I want to learn why.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like,
So
teach me why.
The problem is there probably is no why.
There's no
It's
why.
just it's a
It
rule
just
that
was a
probably
rule.
shouldn't be there
It was done 2 years ago, apparently. 2 years ago, there was a meeting.
because of the Airbnb, because of Airbnb getting popular, or what?
No, I can see the concerns. And I can see as a owner of a house that you want to,
You don't want a bunch of people coming
That's
in
right.
right next to you.
Yeah.
And I kind of get that. I get that. I 100% get that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
it comes down to I think the history shows that devaluation of properties can happen based on demographics and based on exactly what type of properties are on there. So I'm thinking, and this is all an assumption. I don't really know. I'm learning now that it's probably that, but you got to check out my property, and it's so controlled. Airbnb is so controlled.
Yeah,
We're not just gonna let anybody in there. We're not slumlords.
Yeah,
Right, right.
We've rented Airbnb is pretty nice. I mean, we look.
I mean, the legit Airbnbers are prideful of their properties, and they're gonna pick and choose. And you're gonna pick those. I hate to say it, you're gonna pick those 5 stars.
Well, honestly,
So
you're right though. But and then honestly, most of your good ones have pride of ownership.
That's right.
So it's only going to bring property value up.
And
Yeah,
you
Increases economic growth. It increases tourship and tourism. Increases because have you guys ever tried renting a hotel in Norfolk? Did you know you can't?
You can't.
If you have an ID that says Norfolk,
You
Nebraska,
can't.
No, you can't.
You want to know why?
I don't.
You don't know why?
No, it frustrates me because 2019, I'm new to Norfolk.
Yeah.
My house is painted and I have a pregnant wife. I'm like, I can't have her in here.
Right.
What am I going to do? I'm going to go to a hotel. I got denied by all of them.
Yep.
I think we slept in our car.
The reason, and they should have let you in. If you gave an explanation, they should have let you in, which is ridiculous that they didn't let you in. But
I
a lot
think
of
you
it
can get to Hampton and Holiday Inn.
sometimes,
Yeah.
if it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
But the reasoning for that is it's gonna sound bad, but it's for those
It's
like
drugs and stuff.
well,
like
drugs and one night like I'm gonna just
Hit it
go
and quit it.
hit it and quit it. This
Sure.
deal,
Sure.
but it's a stupid regulation though.
Yeah.
I get it to an extent.
But like, what if you want to get away from home? Like, what if I just want me and my
And
wife just want to
staycation.
Yeah,
Staycations are awesome.
yeah.
I think the lodge does a really good job of allowing you.
Yeah, you can go
if you're
out
a
there.
resident.
They
yeah.
do. Yep.
Yeah, great hotel. So
Actually, Brad, when he was in the transition of moving from, he had built a house, which was crazy. He built the house and then left like 2 months later for another job. But he had to stay there for a month and a half. They did a long stay.
Wow,
and they let him do that. So that's
awesome.
That's really cool.
and that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish is a destination site. You know, we're in the hospitality business.
Yeah.
And it goes back to who's doing that specific type of project. And I don't know.
I think Norfolk needs to get more on the allowing the Airbnbs if they want to bring more stuff in. So I know, like,
I mean, they're planning on getting this huge recreational, like,
yeah.
What is it called? The whitewater rafting, or
that's
okay.
That's only if it comes to fruition, which I'm hopeful it will.
Well, it's already
it's
getting built.
Yeah,
Already
so I'm
built.
hoping it ends up being a very successful thing. There's only so much living quarters here in Norfolk,
Yep.
so allow entrepreneurs and people who want to be able to create a space and an experience. That's all we want is an experience, and I think that's what we created at.
That's what it comes down to.
It's got to be in a good area. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know from the livestock showing world. I mean, I know that's kind of my world. Is people are starting to go to less and less hotels because pickups are getting broken into at hotels.
That's right.
People are stealing stuff out of pickups, and hotels don't care. They don't claim
I think
no
they put up
responsibility.
signs that says,
Yeah, they don't care anymore.
"Yeah,
and
it's
so
not our responsibility." They do
I
that
know
on a reason.
we'll spend
there's a purpose for it.
everybody will spend a lot of time looking at these Airbnbs, and if you find a good one in a good area,
Right.
the problem is, and maybe that's kind of part of the thing they're looking at. They don't want them in bad areas because they're not going to sell them. People don't want to come to bad areas.
Yeah.
And then it's going to look bad on everybody else. If
That's
you get
right.
an out-of-towner coming into an Airbnb and say you're in a bad part of town, which there's not a lot of bad parts of town, but everybody's got bad parts of town.
Yeah.
And then something happens, and then maybe they don't want to deal with
That's
that
right.
bad press. I mean, that's a possibility that I can see from them, and I would respect that response.
Sure.
But that's not a perfect answer to
Right.
the.
Yeah. There should be a little bit of I don't know, because you also don't want to be able to give do special favors or
Right.
or do exceptions.
Right.
That's not fair.
Right.
I think being able to I don't know, maybe there could be like a system where you can show your worth. I don't know.
Yeah.
And be like, hey,
That's
you
true.
have to follow. You have a 9-month process of if you can show us that you're, not a slumlord,
Right.
then
That's
we'll
true.
honor your ability
Yeah.
to occupy your space
I like that.
and give the neighbors input.
You could do a probationary period.
That's
Just
right,
like what you're
probation
talking,
period, I like it.
probationary period.
Yep.
And we can give you a temporary
That's right.
permit or something for a
Perfect.
probationary period.
Like that. I think that's perfect.
I could see that. Review it in a year.
Yeah.
And
Let and have the neighbors give some insight because I think it's valuable. And I think if you've seen my properties, they are no cut corners,
Well taken care of.
well taken care
I've
of.
seen it. I've seen them. I've seen them getting built.
Yep. And so, if anything, it's adding a ton of value to your asset, which is your home.
Agreed. So we're getting long on time. Is there anything that you want to plug for the future that you're going to do? Is there anything you want to? I'm obviously going to have you on again.
Sure.
We can discuss so many different things.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot. Yeah.
So
I think the biggest thing that I want to relay is probably, and it's a new thing for me, is medical. I think medical has been something, even though I'm just a busy guy, I think I'm starting to really realize the importance of a human and how short our lives are, and being able to provide some support systems that can create some longevity and essentially ask questions and have that 15 complaint list in your clinic. And if you find someone that doesn't listen to you and it's like, hey, 3 things, man, then leave. Run.
I'm all for that. I'm all for what you want to do, and you know what? If the viewers end up really liking this podcast,
Sure.
maybe we make this a whole segment for, just a medical
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
podcast
Q&A or anything.
Q&A. People can ask
Absolutely.
questions, and
Heck yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah. All about learning, all about helping. That's, I'm a service type of guy. So, and then even learning from viewers and from you guys,
That'd be
it's all
great.
about.
This is really good information.
I really love that you came on.
Yeah.
This has been way better.
I was really
than,
nervous about this.
You were, and
Even this morning, it kind of, it
I-
made an
I told
impact on
him.
my life.
Every time we do an episode, I come in nervous. I tell him.
so
and then it
I
takes
don't
me-
get nervous with mine advances anymore. But the interview this morning and the interview just now, I get a little bit of butterflies before we start, and then as soon as I go into the intro, it's golden.
Right.
But I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
This has been very insightful information.
Yeah.
We definitely got to do it again
Absolutely.
because we didn't touch on.
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
There were so many things that I wanted to talk about that we didn't get
Sure.
to because of how the conversation went, which is good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So I think we definitely got to do it again. If we get some more viewer feedback
Absolutely.
or listener feedback, we should definitely
Sure.
do this again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We can have some more whiskey and
Heck
have
yeah.
some more beers.
Oh,
and-
yeah. I'll treat us this time.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Jose, I appreciate you coming
Yeah,
on.
thanks, Zach. Appreciate
And we
you
will,
guys.
we will catch y'all
Keep
next-
up the good work. And
Oh, we appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna support you wholeheartedly. And yeah, anything you need, let us know. Come see us. Nebraska Health and Wellness.
Let me
I'm gonna
know.
have- I'm gonna
Medical
start coming
Center.
Yeah,
there.
Nebraska Health and Wellness Clinic.
Anthem Medical Center in Omaha.
There you go.
Come check us out.
And the book was The Microbiome in Your Mouth.
That's right.
I'm gonna
Dr.
buy it.
Nuno.
Dr.
We should
Nuno
have him
Nuno.
on. I think we'd have a great time.
We'll have him on soon.
Absolutely.
And you said Monday through Saturday.
We're
You
open
guys are
Monday
open
through
Monday?
Saturday. Walk-ins friendly.
What's the
If
address?
my staff ever tells you that there's no appointment, text me.
What's the address?
So Omaha is 2002 West. So 2002 Vinton Street. In Norfolk, we're at 1414 North 13th Street.
They're just right over behind the old.
I promise we have a 4.8 star rating. We don't have a 5-star. So you can trust us.
If you want
It's only that one little.
if you want to go
one
look him up, he's got so many reviews, and they're. I said it before, but God, they're some great reviews. Some great reviews. Go look at. Go give him a chance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Let me know as soon as you got
Absolutely.
that testing. I'm
Absolutely.
coming in right away.
We should probably do one on a podcast and then go over your results.
We should.
We could
I'm,
do
I'm
that.
totally fine with
That'd
that.
be awesome.
We should do that.
And then do
And everybody can hear how unhealthy I am.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Absolutely.
So, but Jose,
Yeah.
This has been by far better than I thought it was going to be.
awesome.
I really
Same.
appreciate.
I was nervous.
Yeah, I really
And
appreciate.
I don't
you
get
being
nervous a lot. Only in high school track. That was the only time I'd get nervous.
Here. Well, I'm glad I could make you nervous.
That's right.
But I appreciate you being here, and everybody will see you guys next time.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.